Ladies and gentlemen, welcome as we are live to bring you today's NASCAR Xfinity Series race coverage at the Homestead-Miami Speedway for the running of the Credit One NASCAR AMEX credit card to, 300. I almost said 200. 300. It is a 300-mile race, 200 laps, which is what I was about to say, is the scheduled distance for this one here today as the cars roll onto the racetrack for the first time for their parade laps for the third to last Xfinity Series race of the season. We'll highlight the point standings here quickly, go through the starting lineup, and obviously get into this race as this is our third and final live commentary stream on this Saturday evening. Appreciate everybody tuning in from the wee morning hours at 9 a.m. this morning with our NASCAR Cup Series race coverage. The day's actually flown by with everything going on NASCAR related, on-track activity related for this race, and this race is going to be a lot of fun. I think this could be the race of the weekend. Definitely had a good truck race, I'd say, earlier today. A clean one at that. We'll see what this Xfinity Series race will bring here today. We usually see a lot of thrillers in the Xfinity races at Homestead-Miami Speedway, and I don't think today is going to be any different. AJ Allmendinger is the only driver locked into the championship for as of right now. Of course, he won the first race of the round at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway last week. Went in as the 8th seed, came out as, of course, now being the only driver in the final round. Justin Allgaier plus 32 points, looking good as he qualified up in the top 5 again today. Cole Custer plus 16 points, also starting in the top 5. And Chandler Smith only 8 points to the good in that final spot above the cut line. First driver out is Austin Hill. His teammate Jesse Love is minus 13, definitely within striking distance with 2 races to go. Minus 23 points for Sam Mayer and minus 53 points for Sammy Smith. So that's our point standings. You'll see that at the ticker on the bottom of the screen as well as other season statistics. Now it's time to go through the starting lineup of today's Homestead-Miami Speedway race. Chandler Smith and Sheldon Creed, the two JGR Toyotas, locking up the front row. And in fact, JGR qualifying 1, 2, and 3 yesterday afternoon. With Creed trying to start in the second place position today. We'll see if he can get that first career win. Eric Almirola and Cole Custer will line up in row 2. Almirola and that 20 team still going for the Owners' Championship. Should be a threat to win here today. Justin Allgaier, AJ Allmendinger line up in row number 3. Allgaier, my pick for the win here today. You can vote for who you think is going to win the race in the chat poll. That'll stay open until the end of stage 2. Parker Kligerman and Riley Herbst line up in row 4. Sam Mayer, Sammy Smith make up row 5 and round out the top 10. In row 6, Parker Retzlaff and William Sawalich, who ran the truck race earlier today. Connor Zilic, who was also in that truck race, running another Xfinity start in the 88 for JRM. He'll be on the inside of row 7 with Jesse Love, playoff contender, to the outside. Jeb Burton and Austin Hill make up row 8, and row 9 will be Ryan Segan, the 28 car for the second consecutive week, coming home with a very close runner-up finish last weekend at Vegas. Anthony Alfredo on the outside of that row as well, and in row 10 behind them will be Brennan Poole and Brandon Jones. Kyle Weatherman, Ryan Truex will be in row number 11. Interesting to see Truex in the 26 for Sam Hunt Racing this weekend and not in a JGR Toyota, but he is in the field. And in row number 7 will be Jeremy Clements with Josh Williams. Shane Van Gisbergen making his first career Homestead start on the inside of row 13, Leland Honeyman to his outside. Kyle Sieg and Brad Perez will line up in row 14 and row 15, Dawson Cram with Dylan Lupton. Ryan Ellis and Mason Maggio make up row 16, and row 17, Nick Lights and Austin Green. Bladen Perkins and Thomas Annunziata will make up row 18, and in row 19 rounding out the field will be Armani Williams and Matt DiBenedetto. Matty D did not make a qualifying lap yesterday, but he will be in the field ready to go for the race here today. And that will make up our 38-car field for this one. Our stage splits will be 45, 45, and 110 laps in the final stage today, so they won't have to pit for fuel or tire purposes. Obviously, stage 1, stage 2, as we usually see with the Xfinity Series, and these races being obviously much shorter in length than that of the Cup Series. But the final stage will be pretty much almost 2 full fuel runs. They will only have to pit 1 time, although we may see some strategies play into a potential 2-stop strategy, maybe, depending on how the cautions lay out. Obviously, we could see multiple pit stops in stage 3 as well. But appreciate everybody tuning in. Again, I know I say that all the time, but I really do mean it. Long day on the channel, a lot of live commentary. We've got 200 laps of racing that are about to begin here shortly, and I think this is going to be a lot of fun. Corbin Butler and John Barber, thanks for tuning in to the stream. You guys were the first in the chat below prior to the start of the stream. Be sure to hit the like button for those of you that are watching. Our goal is to get to 100 likes during the course of today's live commentary stream. We are at 11 as we haven't gotten this race yet going, so greatly appreciate it. I mentioned already, go to the starting lineup that you can vote for who you think is going to win the race in the chat poll. Our voting options here today are going to be Chandler Smith, Justin Allgaier, or Eric Almirola. If you don't think any one of those three will win, you can vote for other. All of them starting at the front of the field. Chandler Smith on the pole. Allgaier's my pick. He's tied with Chandler Smith at 38% of the early votes. Make that now Justin Allgaier at 44%. 33% for Chandler Smith. It just changed as I was reading it. And 11% of the votes for Almirola and other. They will be going green this time by, as the pace car is about to roll onto pit road. And with that being said, let's have a good, fun day of racing at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Pace car takes the hard left-hand turn into the pits, and the JGR trio at the front of the field going to lead us to the green. Chandler Smith outside row one for the initial start today. And the green flag waves. Race number 2 of the race weekend is underway at Homestead. Teams start for the most part heading down into the first turn. Connor Zilich in the 88 trying to go 3 wide further back just outside the top 10. But that was really the only driver trying to poke out a line on this initial start. Side by side for the lead down the back straightaway between Sheldon Creed and Chandler Smith. Creed on the bottom and Smith up high. Smith will take that high line advantage off into turns 3 and 4. Creed a little loose in that middle groove, trying to slide up in front of his teammate Eric Almirola. Not a lot of room there, but he does get up in line, and Almirola maybe cutting him a bit of a break. Cole Custer down on the bottom of the 20. Almirola really pinched in right now. He gave the 18 a bump draft down the front straightaway as all 3 of those JGR Toyotas break free. So first lap led by pole sitter Chandler Smith. And a fight quickly to get to the outside as soon as possible. We saw how predominantly that outside lane was, especially on the initial start and restarts in the truck race. That'll be the same for the Xfinity today and Cup race tomorrow. For those of you watching the race on the CW, wondering what the gold mark is or the green mark is underneath of AJ Allmendinger on the ticker, that is to indicate he has already advanced into the Championship 4. We saw Grant Enfinger win the first 2 races of the round of 8 for the Truck Series playoffs, so it'll be interesting to see what may happen here today with AJ Allmendinger. This is a great track for him, especially in the Cup Series. Back-to-back top 5s in Cup races here at Homestead. And obviously up in the 5th place position, 5th right now. Almirola looking to the inside of Creed. Creed gets loose, trying to pull a block in the center of the corner. Arrow loose on corner exit for him. Gets a bump draft from the high side from Cole Custer that kind of gets his momentum back up. But he gets loose again on the high lane this time in 3 and 4, and Almirola will complete the pass for second. As he completes the pass for second, Custer gets underneath him as well for third. But does not side draft him, stays in line. Back to the outside as he quickly cuts off Allmendinger. Custer back down to the bottom again for another slide job attempt, and this time he clears. And he's up to third. Creed might have had to lift a little extra in the center of the corner again. He's got another car underneath him. That is AJ Allmendinger in the 16. Creed falls from 2nd to 5th in the running order over the last 2.5 to 3 laps now. Although he is fighting back on the outside, a lot more smooth with the steering wheel that time through 3 and 4, and AJ couldn't clear. Although it looked like he was close to clearing on entry into turn 3. He's going to have to try to clear now in 1 and 2 on the bottom. Does by about 4 car lengths or so. No chance at a crossover this time for Sheldon. 9/10 of a second lead between P1 and P2. Chandler Smith over Eric Almirola in second. Cole Custer 1.4 seconds back in third. AJ Allmendinger, as I just mentioned, up to fourth, 1.6 seconds off the lead. Sheldon Creed now 2.1 seconds back in fifth. And Chandler Smith has led every lap from the pole through the first 7 in this race. Brake Powers, welcome back yet again as well. Jesse Love, bottom of the track, battling with Sam Mayer for 7th. Justin Allgaier slipped backwards a little bit on this initial start. 4 spots lost for him. Maybe a veteran move, perhaps. Trying to conserve his tires for the longer run and then attack later in the stage. Or he just flat out lost a bunch of positions on the start. That could be the case. Stays in front of Austin Hill. Keeps the battle up with Love. Not going to pull to the bottom to make the pass, so he's going to keep the momentum up by running the outside after giving him a bump draft down the front straightaway. But Love goes down to the bottom of the racetrack. That extra speed. Allgaier being patient with the 2 right now. It's probably because the 2 is also battling Sam Mayer in front of him. Combination of trying to make the pass on the car in front of you while also having to look out of the rear view because there's cars coming up quickly from behind. Austin Hill underneath the 7 of Allgaier. I think Allgaier is getting held up by Jesse Love and Sam Mayer right now, but he's not moving off the wall to try to make any moves. So Hill saying, I'll go to the bottom of the racetrack and just end up passing you instead. Close to clearing Justin off turn 2. He'll shoot for it again into 3 and 4, back to the white line on the bottom. And on corner exit this time, again, Austin Hill can't complete the pass. Definitely going to start burning his tires up more, trying to make those passes on the bottom. Sheldon Creed must have had a moment off turn 4. He's getting split 3 wide now down into turn 1. That whole group of cars I just mentioned, Mayer, Love, Allgaier, all getting by Creed. Austin Hill to the inside of the 18 as well. 7 and the 2 slamming the door shut on each other. And Riley Herbst now all of a sudden right in front of this mess of cars. Great battles going on between really 5th on through Creed in 10th. So Sheldon Creed started 2nd. He's back to 10th. You can tell he's just very, very loose. That car's wiggling around a ton. They're going to have to make some major adjustments when they get to that first stop of the race, because he's already in danger of losing a ton of track position right out of the gate. Jojo, thanks for tuning in also. Austin Hill into the middle line rather than all the way to the bottom to still try to keep up with Allgaier and maybe make a pass. Can't get alongside of him again. Creed almost into the back of the 48 of Kligerman. Came up from the bottom, going to try to get a spot back on him. Chandler Smith still gradually pulling away from Cole Custer, who is now up to 2nd. Custer passed Eric Almirola on track a couple laps ago. Now Almirola still remains in 3rd. Side-by-side commercial break for those of you watching on the CW. Top 10 in the running order through the first 12 completed laps has Chandler Smith in the lead, Cole Custer 2nd, Eric Almirola in 3rd, AJ Allmendinger 4th, Riley Herbst 5th, Sam Mayer 6th, Jesse Love 7th, Justin Allgaier 8th, Austin Hill 9th, and Parker Kligerman in 10th. We'll take our first break. You're listening live to the NASCAR Xfinity race on KRC at Homestead. Jesse Love down to the outside of the racetrack. And Allgaier to move his line off the wall to about a lane, half a lane below it to get some clean air on the nose of his race car. And just moving off the wall enough might have finally been the window of opportunity for Austin Hill to get by him for position, and that's exactly what happened. And now he's side drafting his teammate Jesse Love as they battle for a spot. Stage points are going to be awarded here relatively soon. Hill gets by Love. Good run for Austin Hill, now up to 7th. Passing 2 cars in 2 straight corners. And Allgaier finally, no, looked like he was going to be able to clear high. And you realize, oh yeah, there's a lot of momentum on that outer groove. And Jesse Love again was able to get back alongside and actually clear Justin Allgaier again on the racetrack to stay in front of him for what is now the 8th place position. Almirola going to drop back another spot at the hands of AJ Allmendinger, at least close to doing so. AJ ahead of him at the stripe, but not by much. Side drafts him off into turn 1. Clear high this time in 1 and 2. And not as much momentum on corner exit this time for the 20. You could tell he had to lift more in the center of the corner, despite being in that preferred outer lane near the wall. Despite AJ going down to the bottom to try to attempt and make that slide job maneuver work. So Eric Almirola also starting to slip back a bit on this longer run. Not as bad as his teammate Sheldon Creed, who has fallen to 11th. But the lap time definitely dropping for Almirola. Ran a 36.910 that last lap, slowest of anybody in the top 10. So we'll monitor if he starts to fall back through the running order as we get later into this first stage, assuming we stay green. 1.3 second difference still for Chandler Smith over Cole Custer. That last lap, Chandler Smith just about 100th of a second quicker than that of Custer in the 00. Lap 18, this time by at the line.
Saw Sheldon Creed really struggling. He and the 98 O'Reilly Herbst had a good battle. Sheldon got kind of in a bad spot aerodynamically, lost tons of downforce, and this is when he lost all the spots. 3 or 4 got by him in one lap. Since then, he's kind of neutralized, been able to sit there and run behind the 7-car kill.
Yeah, for Sheldon Creed, he came to the radio a couple laps ago and said he thought he had a tire going down. That doesn't seem to be the case. He hasn't said anything yet. So, Jeff, what would he be feeling in the car that would give the illusion feel-wise to a possible tire issue?
Well, he's looked loose to me this entire run. And, you know, it could be so loose. And we've seen that a few times with this car early in the race where the back of the car just doesn't make enough grip. So, already with a slick racetrack, if the back of the car doesn't have the grip that you're looking for, it can feel like you actually have a right rear tire going down.
I think at the end of the year, we start seeing the best out of all of these race car drivers, especially right now. The top 9 have all won a race this season. So think about the cream rising to the top. Chandler Smith all the way to Allgaier. Everyone has been to victory lane.
Steve, it's funny we talk about everybody ripping the fence, and this 21 car, Austin Hill, that blue and white car, he's running either the middle of the racetrack in 1 and 2 or the very bottom in 3 and 4, and he's making it work.
Obviously, he worked on that in practice because that's basically the laps he ran as well. And, you know, he's just self-admitted. He says he's not the best at the top. He feels like he can make his car work around the bottom. And so far, Dave proving up that he's correct with that. Catfish. That's what the team calls it, catfish, a bottom feeder. And that's where Austin Hill likes to spend his time here at this track. But the storyline for this place is you've got to run the top. You've got to get up there. And there you see him migrating sort of midway up there. So he's passed 9 cars since the start of this race from where he started. The question then becomes, Jeff, can you win from down there? Will there be a time when Austin Hill absolutely has to rip the fence like the faster cars?
Well, so far he's been able to make it work, and I've been surprised that over here on the exit of 4 that he hasn't just gotten destroyed by the cars on the outside, but he's been right there with Riley Herbst. He really doesn't get beat that bad. And as this run goes on and the tires start wearing out more, that may be the case. But so far, Austin Hill's made it work.
All the way to the bottom of the racetrack, then drifts up in front of the 98. Riley Herbst still close the door on that position. So Hill.
Yeah, great tire management by Austin Hill, too. It doesn't really look like that car's sliding around a whole lot. And obviously, to be able to run the bottom as well as he's doing right now, you have to have a great handling race car on top of speed. And that seems to be what Austin Hill has right now, as he is up to 6th place. And trying to put himself into the championship 4 here in a couple races. Came very close to the championship 4 last season. Trying to rebound off of that here this year with a solid run today. He has not won on a non-super speedway yet this season. 2 wins at Atlanta, and then that season opener at Daytona are his only 3 wins. Though with those 3, he is tied for the most in the series. Jesse Love going to make a pass for position on Riley Herbst. Herbst is going to try a crossover from the exit of turn 4. Allgaier pushing the 2 car in front of him. And Love's going to have to enter in the middle groove. Allgaier able to go to the wall on the top. And Herbst, who is hanging on the bottom lane of the racetrack, now going to get passed by Justin Allgaier as well. Herbst falls to 9th. He was in 5th before the commercial break about a half a dozen, maybe a little more than that, laps ago. Almirola has maintained in 4th after falling there before the commercial break as well. His lap times have kind of stayed around that 36.9 for a while now, but everybody else's lap times are starting to fall towards him. 36.9s for each of the top 6 drivers in the running order that last time by. So very even right now. With Austin Hill being the biggest mover of the race thus far. Matt DiBenedetto, who started last after not qualifying today, he's up to 22nd also. And Ryan Sieg, who also started fairly deep in the field, is up to 11th season, including last weekend at Vegas. So we'll keep an eye on Sieg as this race progresses, as he battles Riley Herbst currently for 10th on track. And speaking of battling, here comes Cole Custer looking for the lead. He's narrowed the gap down between himself and race leader Chandler Smith now to about 0.3 of a second. Still 19 laps to go yet in stage 1. We're seeing those Toyotas not have long run speed, but the good fire off short run speed, which is the reason why they were able to qualify up in those top 3 positions, I'm sure, as well. When does Xfinity finish up? I would imagine this race will probably be done about 6:30, if I had to guess. I'm going to say about 6:30 Eastern time the race will be done. Maybe a few minutes before. Definitely after 6. Chandler Smith is definitely more loose than Cole Custer, who's running him down. And the tire management. Trying to manage the rear tires, not let the car slip up from underneath you too early in the run. Chandler Smith's had a struggle with trying to manage his tires in the Xfinity Series in his first 2 full seasons. Colleague Racing last year, JGR this year. He's led a lot of laps on intermediate tracks this season, but he just can't seal the deal. And here the early going, leading laps. Got out to a decent sized lead, but once he does that, he just can't manage the tires as well as he needs to hang on to it for the long haul. And Allmendinger also quicker than the leader within 0.9 of a second now, so Custer doesn't want to wait around too long to try to make this pass because AJ is coming. Obviously, the points here in the stages mean a lot more for Chandler Smith and Cole Custer, considering the fact that they are not locked in and AJ is into the final 4. 16 to go, stage 1. Both cars driving it into that middle groove. Middle upper lane, I should say specifically. Custer cuts in the center of the corner all the way to the bottom, really trying to change his lane because he was running a carbon copy of what that 81 was in front of him, and he couldn't make up any ground. Through the first half of the corner, it was even. That time, he's about half a lane lower than him. And closes the gap considerably. Might be able to take the air off the rear spoiler if he gets close enough down into turn 1. Allmendinger on the move. He's under a half a second off the lead now. Custer's taking way too much time to try to make a pass on Chandler Smith. Though Smith goes to the bottom of the track this time to try to pass the lapper. Custer into the middle groove is going to carry more speed down the back straightaway and may have a chance to make the pass into turn 3. Lapper on the outer lane of the racetrack. Custer again to the middle. Chandler Smith again down towards the bottom. As he keeps it pinned down to the white line on corner exit, it's going to be Custer getting to his outside off turn 4. Custer at the line gets his first lap led and off into turns 1 and 2, trying to pull the clearance. Has the advantage up high. Chandler Smith getting loose down to the bottom again, and Custer's clear off turn 2. And now Allmendinger going to go for second. Lead change for the first time today, lap 32. Cole Custer out in front. Chandler Smith in second, third for A.J. Allmendinger. Eric Almirola fourth, Sam Mayer in fifth. Austin Hill sixth, Justin Allgaier seventh, Sheldon Creed eighth. Riley Herbst ninth, and Jesse Love in 10th. Ryan Sieg in 11th, William Sawalich in 12th. Connor Zilich 13th, Parker Kligerman 14th, and Brandon Jones 15th. 16th is Sammy Smith. Josh Williams 17th, Ryan Truex 18th, Kyle Weatherman 19th, and Matt DiBenedetto in 20th. 21st, Brendan Poole, Jeb Burton 22nd, Shane Van Gisbergen in 23rd, Kyle Sieg 24th, Leland Honeyman 25th, Anthony Alfredo 26th, Parker Retzlaff 27th, Jeremy Clements 28th, Dylan Lupton 29th, Nick Lights 30th, Ryan Ellis 34th, and Austin Green, currently the last car in the lead lap in 35th. Mason Maggio a lap down in 36th, same for Thomas Annunziata 37th, and Armani Williams 38th. Rounding out the field. Chandler Smith leads the first 30 laps. He was scored as the race leader. From the pole, Cole Custer has now led the last 4 and counting. Smith is still holding on to second with A.J. Allmendinger looking to make the pass. 12 laps to go now in stage 1. So we'll take another break. You're listening to live on KRC to the Credit One NASCAR Amex Credit Card 300 at Homestead. Sid Vic, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate the thumbs up there. Same from a few of you. Last race of the year? No, it's not. Not the last race of the year. Not anymore. It's not the championship 4. We got a points battle going on still. Championship will be in Phoenix in 2 weeks. Riley Herbst, Jesse Love, now the battle on screen during this side-by-side commercial break on the CW. Riley Herbst does make the pass on Love. Love now outside the top 10 as it looked like Kyle Sieg followed Riley Herbst to get by him as well. I saw somebody following in line behind. For some reason, I was thinking it was a lap car. Great camera angle they have right now. They're seeing some cars definitely getting loose and sliding more than others. On that high line near the racetrack, we've seen some scuffs up there already. Feel like Homestead's the new lady in black. We'll see some more scuffs up there, I'm sure, before the end of the race tomorrow afternoon. They might have to repaint the wall at the end of the night. I'm not sure if they do that or not. Guess we'll find out by the start of the race tomorrow if we still see those black skid marks up on the outside. During the commercial break, Chandler Smith fell to 4th. A.J. Allmendinger to 2nd. Almirola, now the highest running Toyota, in 3rd. All within a second of Cole Custer for the lead. And lap time-wise, A.J. Allmendinger is also quicker than that of Custer in front of him. Last lap, he was about 300ths quicker, and he's within a half a second, so he's definitely got a chance to steal a stage win away from Cole. 8 laps left. Almirola also closing the gap. Custer in the dirty air. The lap car is up on the outside. 16 runs the top and a half a lane off of it. With slightly more clean air was the 20 car of Almirola, and that's part of why he probably made up as much ground as he did that last lap. Now he goes all the way to the bottom. And that 20 team trying to go for owner's points slides, but Allmendinger pinches him off in the middle lane on corner exit. Wasn't riding all the way near the wall. The 20 couldn't get back into the gas when he wanted to. Custer can't run the wall this time as he has to pass the 14 car. I believe that's Dawson Cram. Austin Green, excuse me. Green in the 14 this weekend. Cram's in the 74. Blaine Perkins, the next car, a lap down right in front of these leaders. If they're going to run the wall like that, you have to be able to run that middle bottom groove and make these passes more efficiently. Almirola using the lap car as a pick to get by to second place. 16 was stuck in the high lane behind him. And all of a sudden, you look out of the rear view of A.J. Allmendinger, and Sam Mayer, is within a second of the lead back in 5th. Austin Hill's up in contention, also within a second. Sammy Smith, meanwhile, scraped the outside wall. Showing the replay of that. That happened a handful of laps ago. And the driver, the number 8, is currently running... Can't find him on the leaderboard. Did he make a pit stop? Yeah, I think he did. 35th is where Sammy Smith's at. He's pitting right now. Flat tire. After getting up against the fence a couple laps ago, couldn't make it to the end of the stage. He was already in a must-win situation, and now even more so, as he's not going to get any stage points. So Austin Hill gets by Justin Allgaier not Justin Allgaier, AJ Allmendinger for position. Moves all the way up to 3rd. And Almirola through 1 and 2, a little slide job. He takes the lead away from Cole Custer. Custer with the crossover gets right back underneath him again, side by side for the lead into turn 3. Coming up on 3 to go this time behind the stage at Austin Hill, who has rolled the bottom so well so far through this race. Rolls the bottom again. Custer clears on Almirola. Slides way up the racetrack. Almirola crossover now in the middle. Hill's underneath. 3 wide for the lead into 1. 20 car in the middle. 21 on the bottom. 00 up high. 20 car clears the 00 to the high lane now in the center of 1 and 2. Hill on the bottom groove trying to slide into 2nd and does so successfully on Custer. Sheldon Creed, meanwhile, making a pass for 4th on Allmendinger, also through 1 and 2. And Almirola sees the success the 21 has on the bottom. He tries to run to take the line away, but he can't roll the bottom as well as Austin Hill. Both cars sliding the rear tires, but not as much for the 21, and Hill takes the lead off turn 4. So many lead changes already in this first stage of the race. Hill is now our 4th different leader, and our 3rd of which in just the last couple laps. I mean, where does Sheldon Creed come from? He was in 11th on the initial start of this race, and somehow rallied to get back to 4th, and he's reeling in Custer for 3rd. He's got momentum on the high side than Custer does in front of him off turn 4. Slight wiggle there by the 18 killed his momentum just enough on corner exit. Brad Perez going to lose a lap to Austin Hill, who's quickly pulling away from the cars he just passed behind him. I think that 21 car is going to be the one to beat if he can continue to roll the bottom as well as he is right now. This track's only going to slightly gain more and more grip as we get closer to the end of the race, as this may end in dusk. It's not going to be completely dark out at the end of the race, but it's going to be close. Austin Hill steals and wins stage 1. He came in below the cut line. He needs this, and he got it. So far, so good for Hill. Eric Almirola 2nd, Sheldon Creed 3rd, Justin Allgaier to 4th, Cole Custer, who is leading in the final 4 laps of the stage, finishes 5th. Sam Mayer 6th, 7th for A.J. Allmendinger, who was 2nd. Late in this stage, Riley Herbst 8th, Chandler Smith 9th after qualifying on the pole and leading the first 30 laps. And Ryan Sieg rounds out the top 10 in 10th. I told you guys this is more than likely going to be the race of the weekend, and we're off to a hot start. A fun opening stage, caution-free, just as the Truck Series went through their first 2 stages of the race. They only had 1 caution for incident, in fact, in that one, and it was early in stage 3. So we may see more of the same here. But Austin Hill, to roll the bottom through 45 laps of a green flag run and still be the fastest car on track. I wonder if that car would be any quicker if he did run the top, honestly. RCR's had some great runs at Homestead over recent years. I mean, you think back to Tyler Reddick, obviously winning him a championship in his final Xfinity Series season. Then for that next year in the spring, Remember the 2 car at the time of Myatt Snyder got his only career Xfinity win with RCR right here at Homestead. And Austin Hill off to a hot start, winning stage 1 here today. Could keep the vibes high for RCR at this racetrack in this series. Dale Oplinger, thanks for tuning in. Tire management is the game. Yes, it is. It's like a local late model modified short track race, but on steroids, considering it's a 1.5 mile track and not like a half mile or smaller short track. Fun to see. Definitely fun to see. In the truck race earlier, we saw lap times falling off about a second every 10 laps, as about that for the Xfinity series here as well. First pit stops are coming up shortly. I'll let you guys listen into those updates. A quarter of the way home by the time we get to the restart for this one here today. Sieg for the win, hopefully. Yeah, I'm interested to see what he can do. He had to start deep in the field. He's up to, he was 10th at the end of the stage. So it'll be interesting if he can continue to go through the field. Austin Hill's still definitely going to be the tough guy to beat here. And we know his pit crew is pretty good too, so it's going to be tough to keep him out of the front couple positions.
Sports coverage of the NASCAR Xfinity Series is brought to you by Credit One Bank, NASCAR American Express Card, and by Toyota. Let's go places. Wonder if Kim's on that boat. See her experiencing some of the fun here in South Florida, the Miami area. Now, stage 1 is complete. And now we see the cars making their way on a progressive pit road. And we'll go to Dave.
From 16th starting position, Austin Hill wins stage 1 of the 21 car. He said, I can be picky, but I'd say don't change a thing on this car. Meanwhile, Cole Custer, too tight to fire off, too loose at the end, Marty.
Then we focused a lot on Justin Allgaier, but man, they were so fast at the end of that run. He said he would like for it to come in a little bit quicker and find that speed earlier in the run. Just needs more overall grip. Sam Mayer said he's 2-3 on entry, and in the middle of the corner, just can't turn the wheel like he would like to turn it. We'll see who wins the race off pit road. How about that 21 crew holding serve here on pit road, Rick?
Yeah, I mentioned it was going to be tough. Their pit crew's been probably the best in the Xfinity series all season. I don't have the statistics on that, but it seems like they gain a bunch of spots every race. Well, they don't have to gain spots when you're already P1. It makes the job easier, and they win the race off pit road after going in first. So we'll see him restart at the front of the field. We'll see maybe if he lacks a little bit on the shorter run on that side of things, and maybe gets a chance back at it again when we get into stage 2. Usually a pretty good restarter too, though, so. I wonder, being as good on the bottom lane of the racetrack as he is, if he takes the bottom for the restart, because we saw it be successful at times in the truck series. It's more of, can you clear the car to the outside by the time you get the corner exit off turn 2, because if you can't, then it seems like that's when the bottom lane is the disadvantage. As far as the fire off speed in the restart zone, they seem pretty equal then. Not a lot of banking, if any at all, down the straightaways here at Homestead, so pretty flat and level between both lanes. And it's straight, obviously, too, so the fire off should be pretty equal in both lanes. I'll have fresh tires for the restart, so a little harder to spin the tires now versus if we had a restart maybe later in the race on older tires. If that ever becomes an issue, because these teams only get X amount of tires per race, especially in these lower series. Pretty sure they would get 3 sets left the rest of the day. happened to Allgaier on pit road? Not exactly sure. Was in 4th, fell to 8th, lost 4 positions in the pits. Definitely a slow stop. Missed a lot of practice qualifying because you were at work. Well, Tyler Reddick was quickest in practice and qualifying today. Qualified on the pole, fastest overall in practice. Toyotas look really good. No Fords qualified in the top 10. They seem to be lacking on speed this weekend. Which pretty much was the case last week as well, but Logano stole the race on fuel mileage. Assuming we don't have a fuel mileage race tomorrow, it's going to be tough to beat the Chevys and the Toyotas, and those Toyotas look extremely quick for the second consecutive week, but even more so maybe this weekend than they were even last week on the speed side of things. Cole Custer with the NXT on CW paint scheme again this weekend. Apparently he was on NXT last week. I didn't see it. I heard when watching the NASCAR Weekly podcast earlier in the week, Danny B, a big wrestling fan as well as myself. I don't really watch NXT much, but apparently it was very cringeworthy. So, are they showing it right now? They're just showing clips of it. He looks. Why? I don't know why he's in the fire suit. He's probably in the fire suit for the sake of. I don't even have any. I need to go back and watch this. It looks very cringy. That's why it looks funny though. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what I'm watching right now. It's hard to put into words what I just saw. For those of you listening, I don't have the visuals of what the heck I was just witnessing in front of my eyes. I've never seen Cole Custer move like that. I've never seen him. Well, you know what? He does have athleticism. If you remember him sprinting to spear John Hunter Nemechek back at or no, it was the other way around. I think Nemechek was the one sprinting at him back at Canadian Tire in the Truck Series a long time ago. Yeah, I think Custer won that race, and then, but he was in a brawl there. They were on the ground. They were wrestling each other. 4 officials and stuff had to break it up. So it's the most athleticism I think I've seen out of Cole Custer since that day. That was a long time ago. Was it? I mean, it was probably like 2018, 2017, somewhere around there. Tires definitely wearing out quite a bit. Seems some courting from some of the teams that have taken their tires off. Cole Custer being one of which. All right, so Hill does take the bottom of row 1 for the restart. Almirola on the outside. Green flag back in the air here at Homestead. All the way down to the apron goes Custer before entering turn 1, trying to stay in front of the 16. That might hurt him a bit through the center of the corner. Nearly 4 wide just behind him. Custer is actually cleared for third. That was a better restart through the center of 1 and 2 than I thought it was going to be as low as he entered. Side by side in front of him still between Hill and Almirola. It's where the car at the top tends to have the advantage, but Hill just rolls the bottom so well that he may be the outlier. And he gets to the lead from that bottom lane yet again as he's clear up turn 4. Single file in those top 7 positions before entering turn 1. And then you go side by side all the way down the front stretch behind him between Sam Mayer and Riley Herbst. 3 wide nearly in the center of 1 and 2. Creed Allmendinger and Ryan Sieg. Sieg starting to pedal through. Good restart for him as he gets to 6th, battling for 5th with Creed. Almirola trying to get the outer lane of the racetrack to work well for him. A full lane and a half off the outside, but he'll get the run down the front stretch. The Toyotas had really good short run speed back at stage 1. Again, a reason they qualified in those top 3 positions. So there is a good opportunity here that Almirola could take an early lead in stage 2. It was weird, though, because he faded in the middle going to the run. I thought he was just going to keep falling back. He fell to 4th, but then he still rallied to get back to 2nd after getting to the lead just laps before that. Sheldon Creed showing very loose early in the run again. It's kind of the same for Creed, though, where he fell back, early and then went from 11th all the way back up into the top 5 before the end of the stage as well. Current points playoff standings as they run with Austin Hill in the lead would obviously be above the cut line if he finishes there and wins this race by the end. Justin Allgaier plus 33, plus 24 points for Cole Custer, last driver in as of right now. Again, we're just starting stage 2. Chandler Smith minus 24, minus 35 for Jesse Love, minus 48 for Sam Mayer. Right side tire was flat, I believe the right front specifically. And he ended up finishing a lap down in that last stage. I do believe he took the wave around to get back on the lead lap. So slightly older tires. He really only has about 4 to 5 lap older tires than the rest of the field, so it was worth taking the wave around. Now he's just got to make sure he stays on the lead lap to the end of the stage for that to work out for him. Definitely not going to be in a great spot to try to get any stage points, so definitely going to put himself in a must-win situation. If he wasn't already coming into the day, he was already 53 points out of 4th. Jesse Love blocking both lanes back straight away after getting by Chandler Smith and Sheldon Creed. Stayed in front of Chandler Smith. He passed Creed. Creed losing a spot to his teammate as well, falling to 8th again. We'll see if he gains it back later in the stage yet again in this one. Almirola loses 2nd to Cole Custer. Custer back into P2 and trying to put the fight to Hill at the front of the field. Get a big stage win for Austin Hill in stage 1. It was his 5th stage win of the year. And that puts him in 3rd all alone on the Xfinity Series this season in stage wins. So I'm going to edit that stat line I have at the bottom of the screen, because now he's in 3rd instead of a tie for 3rd. There we go. Get the leaderboard back up on the screen again. At the race where he put him in the guardrail through the finish line, yeah, they were basically both riding the grass underneath the flag stand back to the start-finish line. Yeah, it was that race. I was second guessing myself because I think at first I said that Custer was one that charged after him, but that wasn't the case. I think Custer won that race. Never seen anything like that before or since in NASCAR. Usually don't have that kind of runoff area, at most, even road courses for that matter, coming to the start-finish line. For us to even have a situation like that, especially with how short the front straightaway is at that racetrack. There was a lot of great races at Canadian Tire. Then once COVID hit, we haven't gone back there since. It was like 3 or 4 years in a row there. It was just wild finish after wild finish after wild finish. That one probably the wildest of them. 28 laps to go in stage 2, a side-by-side commercial break currently airing on the CW. Top 10 in the running order has Austin Hill with a 1/10 of a second lead over Cole Custer in 2nd. 1 second to go. Almirola 2.5 off the lead in 4th. Ryan Sieg is in the top 5 in 5th at 1.7 seconds off the race lead. Jesse Love 2.6 seconds back at 6th. Chandler Smith 2.6 seconds back at 7th. Sheldon Creed 3.7 seconds back at 8th. Justin Allgaier 4.3 seconds off the lead in 9th, and Riley Herbst is 4.3 seconds off the lead in 10th. So that is the top 10, the interval between those drivers. Battle for the lead between Cole Custer and Austin Hill. Custer to the middle. Just a little bit off the top for Hill. Not running the bottom this time around. Maybe now that he's got the clean air, he's trying to take the advantage of rolling the top. Probably best he does it, though, in stage 2. Try to get a feel for it if his team needs adjustments made for him to be able to run that line. Middle groove this time for Hill. All the way to the bottom goes Cole Custer. Definitely more cloud coverage, I'd say, and overcast skies now than what there was in the wee morning hours of practice and qualifying for the Cup Series earlier. And again, they'll slowly start to cool off in track times as we get closer to the end of the race compared to what we had for the entirety of the truck race as well today. Right in the middle of that afternoon sun. Yeah, good battle between those top two. So thrilling battle towards the end of stage 1. May see it again here in the second stage. SVG talked about a bunch in the middle of the year. Did he jump in a rabbit hole? I mean, I don't think so. I mean, he's up to 21st. He qualified a little further back than that in the race today. It's one of those things where I think he can get back up and get a top 15 finish today. And that's kind of been what he's done all year. You know, he starts off slow. It's his first race at a lot of these tracks. Some of them he's gone back a second time. I would have probably expected him to be maybe a slight bit better. But again, he's still new to ovals and another new track for him here this weekend at Homestead. So him being where he's at right now, it's one thing to, you know, if you had oval experience and then had a situation running where he's at right now, even though it's his first race here, there's that, but not having oval experience in general. So it's different from, you know, a Connor Zilic, for instance, although he doesn't have a whole lot of oval racing experience either, and he's running in 12th, so he's also outside the top 10. I'm sure we may see him flirting with a top 10 finish by the end of it, though he's still got more than SVG, I believe. Quiet day so far from Zilic. By the way, Riley Herbst came to pit road for an unscheduled pit stop last lap, a couple laps ago now. As he also got against the wall hard enough that it had forced a tire rub. So similar to Sammy Smith in stage 1, that unscheduled stop drops him off of the lead lap, and he was at the tail end of the top 10 at the time of the contact. Jesse Love, Sheldon Creed battle for 8th. Make that 7th. Battle for 7th on track. Creed fell back there, so he's working his way back through the running order as he conserved his tires earlier in the run. Ran at 36.285 that last lap. Faster than Love, obviously, and also faster than Chandler Smith just in front of him. Creed goes to the bottom of the track now, trying to pounce on Chandler Smith for 6th. Allgaier going to get through to the outside lane on Jesse Love for a spot. Barely clear center of the corner for Creed. Almost got up against the wall. As when the 81 pulled out a line to cross him over, might have taken a little air off the rear spoiler of the 18. Logged him down a little more. Creed stays up against the wall on the outside. Oh, and Allgaier up into the wall just behind him. And 3 and 4 couldn't run that same line as Creed all the way through the corner. And we'll have to keep an eye on Allgaier if he has to come to pit road. We've seen a couple guys cut tires. So Xfinity Series bodies are composite. Get away with a scrape here and there, but you can't hit it too hard. It was hard to tell exactly that time how hard the 7 of Allgaier had gotten against the fence, but he definitely scraped the wall. All those black marks pretty much all the way around the wall. Not all from the 7, obviously. We've seen several drivers in both races already today get up against the fence. Some scuffs here and there. Allgaier's plus 27 points above the cut line right now in 8th, so Don't want to see him have to make by no means a lock with where he is running right now above the cut line, especially with Austin Hill in the lead, who came in first driver out, -8 points coming into the day. And he already won stage 1, and now he's looking to double down and winning stage 2. He's got a second lead over Custer. He's managed that gap the entire time. Really nothing more, nothing less. Well, Custer did get within a few car lengths at one point, but that was it. Hill is into lap traffic at the very tail end of the field on drivers who are already a lap down at the end of stage 1. 18 laps to go in stage 2 with where we're at currently. Sieg in 5th. Yep, Ryan Sieg in 5th, looking for back-to-back top 5 runs. He was 10th at the end of stage 1. He started around 20th today. He's just kind of slowly working his way through the field. And he's right behind Almirola for 4th as well, so they're pretty tight to one another. Almirola, another driver that's kind of fell behind a bit on the longer runs. He wasn't second initially on the restart. And Sieg is putting pressure on him. Sieg looking for 4th. Middle groove through the center of 3 and 4 for Sieg. Almirola up near the wall on the outside. If he just could have gotten on the bottom enough to side draft him before diving off into the next corner, that probably would have been the best opportunity to make that pass. Almirola really loose through the center of 1 and 2, and Sieg is all over him now. We'll see if he tries to go for the pass down into 3 and 4. Shout out, by the way, to the 19 of William Sawalich in the Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota. He has just cracked the top 10 for the first time today. This is his Xfinity Series debut. Getting some seat time before he goes full-time Xfinity Series racing next year. Didn't run a full season of trucks this year, part-time with the one team at Tricon Garage, but he will be Xfinity Series racing again full-time with JGR next season. So off to a good start here today, as he continues to learn. 14 laps to go in stage 2 at Homestead. Hills open up a 1.6 second lead over Cole Custer in second. AJ Allmendinger third. Ryan Sieg did make a pass for 4th on screen. Eric Almirola is now 5th. So that is the top 5 in the running order. We'll take a quick break here late in stage 2. So you're listening live on KRC to the NASCAR Xfinity Series Homestead-Miami Speedway race. Once again, a reminder, be sure to hit the like button on the stream if you guys have not done so yet. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content as well. We have live commentary streams every NASCAR race weekend for Truck Xfinity Cup races, as well as Cup practice and qualifying. So this is our 3rd stream of the day. Our final one until tomorrow afternoon, where we will go live at 2 p.m. Eastern for the NASCAR Cup Series race. Beginning, of course, with our pre-race coverage. So 12 laps to go now. In stage 2. Austin Hill has led every lap of the second stage so far. So he's well surpassed Chandler Smith for the most laps led. 38 laps led now for Hill. Smith led for 30. Custer for 12 and 1 for Eric Almirola before then quickly losing the lead late in stage 1 to Hill. And with those 4 different leaders, we've had 4 lead changes so far. 29 cars are currently on the lead lap. Riley Herbst, first car a lap down. The 43, by the way, Ryan Ellis got the free pass at the end of stage 1 to get back on the lead lap. I mentioned Sammy Smith also took the wave around. And those are the last two cars on the lead lap here late in stage 2 again, Sammy Smith and Ryan Ellis. So we'll see if Herbst is going to be able to continue on in this free pass position. Now, he pitted much earlier in the stage, so I don't think he's going to be able to take the wave around at the end of this stage. There's a chance he could unlap himself before the end of the stage as well. Because he just passed Chandler Smith. He's right behind Allgaier on the fresher tires. Allgaier currently in 7th. That last lap, Riley Herbst ran a 36.850. Still a couple tenths slower than the race leader, Austin Hill. Similar lap time, though, to Cole Custer that last lap. So I guess he doesn't have the pace to get up there, considering he's still probably about 6.5 seconds or so behind the leader, with not many laps to get there. So now it's just up to, will there be another car to go a lap down before the end of the stage, which could happen. So Herbst definitely has to push. Because it looks like Ryan Ellis is for sure going to lose his lap to the end of the stage. I don't know about Sammy Smith, but I think he will get to Ellis. And he'll have to pass him, obviously, because then he wouldn't be the first car lap down once Ellis first loses his lap. While it's not a playoff driver, that is a quality car that could be a lap down at the end of this stage, and that may force Herbst to have to take the wave around, even though he'll be on extremely old tires. Maybe we get an early caution to begin stage 3. That was when the only caution came out in the truck race earlier today. No cautions for incidents so far. 8 laps to go in stage 2. 2.4 second lead still for Austin Hill over Custer. AJ Allmendinger, 2.6 seconds back at 3rd. Ryan Sieg still in 4th, 4.8 seconds off the lead. We'll have our diecast showing at the end of stage 2. Our chat poll will close at the end of stage 2. So if you haven't voted yet, be sure to do so. It's a tight poll between those top 2 options right now. $37 votes thus far. 19 likes on the stream. Definitely hit that like button. Little low right now today. Still got a long ways to go yet. Not quite halfway. Battle for second. Cole Custer and AJ Allmendinger on track. Showing the 42 of Leland Honeyman. Is he slow on the track? Looks like he is. He's going to be coming to pit road. Yeah, right rear tire looks to be going down. Honeyman got against the wall recently. He was at the tail end of the lead lap, so that is a car Herbst will pass to get the free pass. Again, as Ellis continues to stay on the lead lap. Allmendinger does make the pass on the outside through 1 and 2 for second place. Easily clear on corner exit for Cole Custer. He's going to be too far back to catch Austin Hill, but that puts him 1 spot ahead in the running order leading into pit stops, which will be coming up shortly. 4 laps to go this time by in the stage. AJ real loose. Barely kept it off the wall. Corner exit off turn 4 as he drives away from Custer. Custer struggled to get by the lapper. Up on the high side. Trouble, 92 car around. Right rear tire flat on that race car. That's Nick Lights. And this will be our first incidental caution of the race with 4 to go in stage 2. And where the leaders are at on the racetrack right now, back straightaway, this will end stage 2 under caution. So pit road will not open because it would have to open this time by because it closes with 2 to go in the stage. So they're not going to be able to open pit road and get a restart in. So free pass does go to Riley Herbst. With the Nick Lights spin, Ryan Ellis did not go a lap down right before that. Showed a replay of the Lights incident now.
Trying to make that pass, just trying to go to the throttle. The back end just doesn't stick for him. Fortunately, no contact. Doesn't hit anything. It's a nice job of not overcorrecting the car. Drivers sometimes tend to turn the wheel right, and the front tires catch, and the car will turn head on into the wall.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
Yeah, there's all the damage now as the right front has come apart and is just tearing that right front fender apart. That will end the stage. It's only the second time Austin Hill has swept stages in a race. Talladega back in 22, and he finished 14th in that race. And how about AJ Allmendinger, who's running second right now and finishes second as, again, under caution, this stage will end.
so under caution late in stage 2. Again, this will bleed to the stage end, though this is an incidental caution. Nick Lights with a spin off of turn 4 after running side by side with another car. I do believe he was on the lead lap at the time, towards the tail end of it, but now going to go a lap down. And then some. A lot of damage on the right front. Right rear was flat after the spin, but apparently so is the right front. And in the process of pit road, it just started ripping through that right front fender. Delbert Wilson, thanks for tuning in. Talk about the 15 car again. Keep their charter. There's no charters in the Xfinity series. Cup Series is the only series that has charters. Harrison Burton going to drive the 15 car full time next season for AM Racing. I think, no, not being in competitive equipment. I mean, you got to think his last season in the Xfinity series, he won 4 races with JGR and went to the Wood Brothers the next year. And although his Cup career hadn't panned out the way he had hoped, luckily he still got his first career win this season at Daytona in the August summer event. But yeah, that's tough ride to compete for a championship with. But I mean, who knows? Maybe he steals a win next season. I mean, obviously he's shown in this series that he is capable of winning races. So although he won't be in the top tier equipment, he only has to get it done once in those first 26 races to qualify for the playoffs. Could steal a spot from one of these bigger teams. And we saw obviously the 9 of Brandon Jones fail to qualify 2 years in a row now. And usually see at least one underdog team in the Xfinity Series playoff field. We've seen Jeremy Clements in there before. Ryan Sieg's been in there before. Parker Kligerman each of the last 2 seasons. So Austin Hill's going to go on to win Stage 2. It'll be a 6th stage win of the year now. Again, he broke his tie for a 3rd after winning Stage 1, but gets the sweep of the stages for only the 2nd time in his Xfinity Series career. AJ Allmendinger 2nd, Cole Custer 3rd, Ryan Sieg 4th, Eric Almirola 5th, Sheldon Creed 6th, Justin Allgaier 7th, Chandler Smith in 8th, Jesse Love 9th, and William Sawalich rounds out our top 10 in Stage 2.
Stage 2 is about to be completed as they will come to the green and white checkered flag, and it will be Austin Hill who has swept Stage 1 and Stage 2. Riley Herbst, when the caution came out, was the first car scored a lap down, and so Riley will get the free pass.
What a day for this team so far. They have maximized stage point opportunities.
Hill came in 8 points below the cut line. Obviously, gaining 20 points through the stages, a big boost for this team. And that golden ticket, if you're able to win at either here or Martinsville, you are automatically in the championship 4th. You're one of the round of 8. Marty.
Rick Sandmere finished 14th here in Stage 2. What's going on with the one car? Listen in.
No more saving here. We just have to do it modularly because we got 15 seconds behind. Yeah, it happened. But you're gonna go hard. I don't
And Jeff, that's the winner of the race in Miami last year. Man, this place is just so difficult. As you mentioned earlier, you can find speed in certain places. It's also easy to get in trouble, and sometimes maybe too easy as well to be too patient.
Well, it's very difficult balance, but when you're giving up 15 seconds, you're gonna have to go. You heard Marty Finley say, "Hey, no more saving. We just got to roll."
Lead lap cars making their way onto Progressive Pit Road for this the second time they have been on the pit road, Dave.
Stage sweeper Austin Hill said, I don't want to mess with it much at all, but crew chief Andy Street knows that the sun is going down this track will change. The adjustment may be as small as a piece of tape. As for Cole Custer, you see him there. He was not happy with his race car. He said it was the track will be tightening up, so they'll need to make an adjustment here as well, Marty.
We saw one wall contact tape for Justin Allgaier with the wall in 3 and 4. There was a second one as well. He said it's too tight in the center to get the car to turn, so they're going to undo requirements of license adjustment. They also told Allgaier, we can't hit the wall anymore. Meanwhile, Chandler Smith said, I'm way too free to run the top like I need to run the top, and Chandler Smith will lose a host of positions here on pit road.
Yeah, that race off Progressive Pit Road sees Austin Hill's crew remain perfect. They do not lose any spots for the winner of stage 1 and stage 2. A big run for Allmendinger. He finished the stage in second. We'll see what he has for the final stage. Could Austin Hill join Allmendinger as a locked-in driver for the championship 4?
I don't want to put the pressure on his picker or anything, but we know that that picker is probably not going to make any mistakes. So as long as the driver can nail the restart, continue to manage his tires as well as he's done in this race, it's going to be tough to beat Austin Hill going forward. If I had to pick the mid-race favorite for the win, it would definitely be him, even though my pick coming into the race was Justin Allgaier. I haven't really seen much top 5 speed out of Justin today. He's kind of been in the back half of the top 10 the entire race, just hasn't been able to, get up, contend for leading laps as this race has gone on. Getting ready for the third and final stage of this one here today. We'll end the chat poll as we are at the end of stage 2. 40 votes were casted. 40% of those 40 votes saying that somebody other than Allgaier, Almirola, or Smith will win. Chandler Smith, that is specifically. And as of right now, you're right, because stage 1 and 2 was won by Austin Hill, who would fall into that other category. Justin Allgaier got 32% of the votes, 17% for Eric Almirola, and 10% for Chandler Smith. Again, the 5th and 6th stage wins of the season for Austin Hill as well. So I'll edit that stat line again in the chat, or not the chat, but the ticker, bottom of the screen there. And now as we're at the end of stage 2, we've got a championship winning diecast for today's diecast showing. Former Xfinity Series champion, Greg Biffle. This is his charter paint scheme from the 2002 season in which he won the Xfinity Series title. Always like this charter car. Carl Edwards also had a similar scheme and won some races with this 60 team as well in the, at the time, Busch Series, but now, of course, called the Xfinity Series. So this is today's diecast showing of the race. We won a Busch Series title with this car on NASCAR 05, I believe. I think it was Chase for the Cup 05 we won the championship with this very car. There we have it. That is our diecast showing for today.
The NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs are down to the final elimination race. See which remaining drivers make their final push to qualify for the championship 4. It's NASCAR Xfinity Series playoff racing from Martinsville next Saturday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern, 12:30 p.m. Pacific, only on the CW. A year ago, it was crazy. Bumping and banging. Teammates at the time, Austin Hill and Sheldon Creed, but it came down to Allgaier. Outdoing Creed right at the line.
if there's as many people mad this week as it was the next week as it was last year, going to Phoenix, there's going to be a lot of tempers. That race was.
Again, Allmendinger locked in from his win a week ago. Austin Hill leading, so he's above the cut line. Allgaier, 28 points. Cole Custer, 23 points above. And the 8 all the way down, Sammy Smith, 102 points below the cut line right now, Kim.
Yeah, they knew it was a must-win coming in. Now it's definitely a must-win headed to Martinsville. I want to show you the tire this time being pulled off the right front of Sammy Smith. The first one we showed you, the corning was absolutely egregious. There is still a little bit of corning right here, but much better than the last time. Now, they did lose a lap trying to fix the camera on that to alleviate some of those issues. Sandy very upset in how slow that maintenance was done. Crew Chief Philip Bell on the radio saying, I know you're seeing red, Sammy, but you got to focus. We got to get back in the game, Dave.
Meanwhile, the tires that came off of AJ Allmendinger's car look really good. And the driver says, the car's not bad. We just need a little bit more to make me feel comfortable. And of course, comfortable is the word of the week for this group, having won at Vegas. They've already begun to prepare for Phoenix 2 weeks away in the championship run. In fact, crew chief Alec Yance told me we've worked on Phoenix this week a lot. This car for Homestead, we really just kind of made sure everything was together and it didn't tip over. Other than that, we are running on house money right now. So we hope we can win today, but we're really just interested in Phoenix at this point.
Jeff, how about the choice of inside line for Austin Hill on the restart?
Yeah, I think it's the right thing to do. He's been fast at the bottom of the racetrack all day. Shortest way around on the bottom. So, yeah, I like that pick.
It's Cole Custer.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I was just going to say, 105 to go. 45 has been a stretch on tires. Now you're going to ask these cars to go over 50, even if you split it right in the middle. So this is going to be a little bit of endurance. You might have to go a little easy on this restart. I know drivers don't like to hear that.
They ain't gonna do that.
You're gonna tell the
Maybe a couple here and there.
Frustrating. Keep track position, but go slow. Yeah, exactly. That's what.
Austin Hill and Cole Custer front row for the restart again. Hill on the bottom just as he was last time. Green flag back in the air. Good launch for the 21 and the 00 for that matter. Hill's going to be clear though on entry into the first turn. And off corner exit. Custer, really hard charge through the center of the corner. Thought Hill was going to be clear. He chose not to move up to hold in front of the 00. He probably wanted to stay on the bottom as much as he could. We'll see if Custer takes the lead from him down into 3 and 4. Custer in the middle line. Austin Hill down on the bottom. Almirola further back, a little bit higher in 3 and 4 than both cars. Side by side for the lead at the line. Hill leads the lap, but Custer's still there. 104 laps to go. Custer with the nose out in front on corner entry on the middle groove of the racetrack. Hill again towards the bottom. Corner exit. Custer almost clear. Not quite. Big dive to the bottom now by Hill. Probably going to try a slide job clear. Trying to keep the car as steady as he can to corner exit. Custer with the crossover. Now he'll get to the bottom. Hill leads that lap at the line by inches again. And up the middle nearly is Eric Almirola for the lead. Hole closed before he got there though. And Custer's going to pull clear off turn 2. And now will the 21 get a run back at him down the back straightaway again? No, he's not, and that's because the 20 side drafting him, and he's pulling him back. Ryan Sieg looking to pass AJ Allmendinger to get back to 4th where he finished in stage 2. Almirola clear for 2nd on Hill. Hill back in traffic for the first time since the start of the race. As he falls to 3rd. Still side by side between the 16 and the 28 for 4th. Hill in that middle to upper groove again through the center of 3 and 4. We'll see how his car's going to act in traffic. Again, it hasn't been since stage 1 since he's been back there. And we still have about half a race to go yet. A lot of long green flag runs in both the truck and Xfinity races today, so you have to expect that that could be the case again here to the finish. Lap 100 at the line for Custer, who leads for the 2nd time now today. Custer's the first driver to lead more than once in this race. And that is our 5th lead change of the race so far. Amongst these 4 different leaders. 28 to 16, they have just been battling every lap since this restart. Sieg just hasn't been able to make that pass every time he gets underneath them. Almirola is trying to go after Custer for the race lead now. And if he's able to get alongside of him, I would imagine Hill's going to really close that gap. Hill's now transferred down to the bottom lane of the racetrack again. Top lane wasn't working well for him. Almost pulls to the inside of Almirola, and he does actually. Just hung enough on that left rear corner panel from corner exit off of turn 2. Has the dive now and entry into 3. Wraps the white line. Corner exit, slides up, clear. Hill back to second, and now he's got one more spot to go to get back to the lead. Custer with the clean air is going to be a little harder to pass. Custer goes to take that line away down to the bottom. Hill to the middle. Or surprisingly, just not as good in that lane as what he is down on the very bottom of the racetrack. Custer knows that. That's why he played the defensive line. Sieg, by the way, finally got by Allmendinger, that last lap for 4th. So he's within a second of the lead. Hill underneath Custer through 3 and 4. Can't stay underneath him on corner exit. Custer with about a 3-car length gap at the line. 98 to go. Custer back to the top. Not all the way near the wall, about a lane and a half off of it. Sieg also towards the outside of the racetrack further back. These top 5 cars really not breaking too far apart from each other on this restart, like we had seen in the first 2 stages of the race earlier today. Already a second and a half of tire fall off, and we've only gone green for about maybe 10 laps or so on this restart. Could be starting with a slightly slower pace as well, knowing they have to go a little longer if they're going to split this stage in half if we stay green all the way through. Almirola loses a lot of time to the 2 cars in front of him. And Allmendinger back to the inside of Sieg as well for 4th. Sieg pinches him down, corner entry. AJ slides up the racetrack. Almost gets into the left rear of the 28. He is all over him. Both cars slowed up through the center of the corner. Chandler Smith underneath both of them, 3 wide. Jesse Love passed and cleared both cars through the center of 3 and 4. And so both the 16 and the 28 lose 2 spots now. Love to 4th, Chandler Smith to 5th. Allmendinger does finally make the pass back on Sieg for 6th. And also drives right back underneath the 81, looking to get back in the top 5 yet again. AJ slide job up the track. Oh, and he runs into the 81. Definitely contact. He self-cleared him. Somehow both cars kept it off the outside wall. And Sieg makes it 3 wide underneath both cars again. Allgaier gives a push to the outside lane car of AJ Allmendinger. Allgaier runs the high line all the way through the corner. Sieg clears the 16 and the 81. 16 with a slingshot crossover back on Sieg. A 3 to 4 car battle now for 4th. Or for 6th, excuse me. 4-car battle for 6th. A lot of slingshots at the front of that group of cars. Allmendinger holds serve. Chandler Smith working back by Ryan Sieg. And now Sieg fights back to the bottom again through 1 and 2. And Chandler Smith going to try a crossover to get back into 6th place perhaps here as well. Top of the screen, split screen going on right now in CW. The top is the battle for the lead between Cole Custer and Austin Hill. 1 and 2 at the front of the field. With Hill running not in the lead and in 2nd place, he is 12 points to the good over Chandler Smith. That points gap is over 20 if Hill were to win this race based on where Chandler Smith is running in 7th right now. That is a big difference. So if you're a Chandler Smith fan, you're not wanting Austin Hill to go to victory lane today. Or anybody below that cut line for that matter, because Jesse Love, he is close to getting underneath Custer that time. That was the closest he's been to running side by side for the lead since the restart. Doesn't go all the way to the bottom through 1 and 2, but he does ride the middle, then cuts all the way to the white line through the center of the corner. And he's not able to get ground on Custer that way, and he actually lost a little bit. Custer stayed steady to one line near the outside, and he'll do the same through 3 and 4 again. Austin Hill gains a bunch in the center of turns 3 and 4, but by corner exit going to stay relatively even with the two cars. They're separating themselves from Almirola and Love in 3rd and 4th on back, though. We'll see if they get to side-by-side for a while, if that gap between 1st and 3rd starts to narrow quite a bit more. Hill just hasn't been able to get alongside Custer. You get alongside of him down the straightaway, you get side draft enough, and it gives you a much better opportunity to try to clear in that next corner with the slide job attempt. 90 laps to go, and they are cutting to a commercial break as of right now on the CW. As the battle for the lead continues on, it'll be a side-by-side NASCAR nonstop commercial break. We'll go through our full field running order one more time in this one. Again, Cole Custer is your race leader. Austin Hill in 2nd. Eric Almirola 3rd. AJ Allmendinger in 4th and Jesse Love 5th. Ryan Sieg 6th. Justin Allgaier 7th. Chandler Smith 8th. Sam Mayer in 9th. And Parker Kligerman rounds out the top 10. William Sawalich in 11th. Sheldon Creed 12th. Ryan Truex 13th. Brandon Jones 14th. And Connor Zilic in 15th. Josh Williams 16th. Shane Van Gisbergen in 17th. Brennan Poole 18th, Anthony Alfredo 19th, and Jeremy Clements in 20th. 21st for Parker Retzlaff, Jeb Burton 22nd, Kyle Weatherman 23rd, Dylan Lupton 24th, and Kyle Sieg 25th. Ryan Ellis 26th, 27th, Riley Herbst, 28th, Sammy Smith, Brad Perez 29th, and Leland Honeyman in 30th. 31st, Austin Green, Mason Maggio 32nd, Dawson Cram 33rd. Thomas Annunziata 34th, Blaine Perkins 35th, 36th, Armani Williams, Nick Lights 37th, and Matt DiBenedetto 38th. 2 cars out of the race, Nick Lights and Matt DiBenedetto, as of right now. Only 2 cautions, lap 45 and 86, stage end at lap 45, and then a late yellow for Lights spinning, which he had not cleared the DVP clock with the damage to his car, so he is out of this race. Winner in both stages has led the most laps, 57 laps led 2 different times for him, as he just took the lead again from Cole Custer in the midst of me running down the leaderboard. Jesse Love has caught AJ Allmendinger, battles him for 3rd. 4th, actually. AJ caught Love. Almirola still in 3rd. So side-by-side battle between the 2 and the 16 again for 4th on track. Average race speed at this point, 122.9 miles per hour. And a little under an hour and a half from the initial start of this race to where we're at now. Again, everybody will have to pit at least one more time in the race today. Maybe more than that, depending on how the cautions may fly if we see any yellows in this 3rd and final stage today. We'll take another break. You're listening live on KRC to the NASCAR Xfinity Series race in Miami. I almost clicked end of stream by accident. Oh boy, that would have been terrible. It never asked you, are you sure either, so it was close. I'm going to double check just to make sure I didn't. Okay, yeah, we're good. We almost lost the stream. Tris Davis and Rowdy Revin Bush Fan 18, thanks for tuning in. I know you guys have been here since late stage 2, but appreciate you tuning in. Didn't get to shout you out. And Delbert, hopefully you make it back by the finish of this one. Appreciate you stopping by.
Gravel, followed by a brand new Trivial Pursuit by Mark Burton. It's Thursday night game night at 8/7 Central only on the CW.
They should have Cole Custer on that show.
Be a lot safer for him. As we see the 16 of Allmendinger still running the wall and able to clear the 2. Jesse Little, again out front, Austin Hill was able to complete the pass on Custer. You saw it. This is how it happened.
And just turns left, getting into 1, shortens the distance, slides right up front of the double zero. Made it look easy, Jeff, for a pass that he attempted for 4 or 5 laps.
Well, I don't think he put a lot of effort into it. I think that he honestly was a lot faster than the double zero the entire time. Did not want to harm his tires. Finally just said, okay, I'm going to take this spot. And it did. and now is driven off by a second and a half. It's pacing himself in my eyes.
As far as the playoff drivers, are they doing everything they need to do? You look at, say, the 7 of Allgaier. He's currently 31 points above the cut line. The 21 of Austin Hill in a position now where he could possibly win this race. He is out front and leading a lot of laps. As a matter of fact, 60 laps already led, Dave.
And Rick, maybe in the process, solving the riddle of Homestead-Miami Speedway in an Xfinity car. What a job the team has done, ran the first stage all around the bottom of the track. Second stage, a lot of it at the top and using the top to help block that top position. So restart, he lost the lead to Cole Custer. He said, that was on me. I just let him get that. But right now he says the car is really good. And that's the Cole Custer behind him, now back to second position. He said, I just don't have the overall grip that he has. That's really the only complaint out of the double zero. Remember, second best car on the trip. He's fast. He's just not as fast as the 21 right now, Marty.
Dave, in this race last year, Justin Allgaier was very strong on the short runs, and that's something that Jim Pullman, his crew chief, felt like they needed to work on. So during the week, this week, they talked about discipline. In fact, in the first 2 stages and here in stage 3, Pullman has intentionally wanted Allgaier to not run hard early in the run. And coming up in 2 laps, he's going to let him, quote unquote, go. Here was that Channel 2 conversation between Pullman and spotter Eddie DeHaan.
When you do tell them to go, you need to remind them to not fence it and say go. Oh, trust me, I plan on it. It's the worst thing that could happen. It's a gentle pickup, right? Like, okay, let's start easing on up there.
So in stage 2, when they told him to go, that's when he made contact with the wall, Steve, twice. So, Steve, my question to you is, have you ever done that with one of your drivers? Have you ever said, hey, don't go early in the run, save it for the end of the run here at Miami?
So I've never intentionally held a driver back early, but I will tell you that Dale Jr. was a master at running the top here. And Jeff, you remember those races here? He would figure out the top, and he would have tenths of a second in the bank. I mean, 3, 4, 5 tenths of a second faster than others. And there was a moment there where I would say, okay, we don't need to be that fast. Meaning, I don't know what you're doing or how you're doing it, but if you can somehow be 10% safer, let's try to work that out. Because what you don't want to do is do this multiple times. It seems like light contact, but every time you bend those crush panels, you move that side in a little bit more, and eventually you'll have a flat tire.
As we were hearing the report from Marty and those that conversation between Pullman and DeHaan, we saw the 7 get into the wall. Exactly what they didn't want him to do.
Oh,
and a big caution here. We see the 26. That's Ryan Truex behind the wheel. He has spun from 13th.
Ryan driving for Sam Hunt Racing this weekend. See what happens.
Ryan 2 wins already in 2024, but it was behind the wheel of the 20 for Joe Gibbs Racing.
Oh, trouble on the 11. Sparks heavy on the right front. Flat tire, I believe, goes up the banking and catches the 26. Poor Truex had no idea it was coming and nothing he could do wrong. And I assume it was a flat tire on the 11. It had the makings of the sparks, like the tire went flat and it got on the front suspension and into the left rear of the 26.
As a driver, you're like, what just happened there?
Yeah.
Remind him of old business I got run into.
Yeah, you see the flat tire being rolled off the 11 there of Josh Wilkins. And with 27 green flag laps on the tires, I think when pit road is open, we're going to see all the leaders pit. That'll leave them 1 set left in their pits. They're not inside their fuel window with 78 laps to go in the race. But, I mean, if you somehow thought you wanted to save your tires and didn't pit here, first of all, you need fuel in just 25 or 30 laps. You would lose a lap in like 10 laps. I mean, you're 2 or 3 seconds off what new tires would be. So you're going to have to come get your third of your 4 sets available.
Well, make sure you shift into high gear with your chance to win an all-access Daytona 500 experience. All you got to do is scan that QR code you see on the screen, or you can visit NASCAR.com/keep up the wins. Right now, you want to enter?
That caution, Sammy Smith, who we have talked about all day, having issues with right front tires, he's going to get the free pass. He was the first car lap down, so he's back in the game.
Another car looking to make something of the day, currently 23 below the cut line, the 81 of Chandler Smith. Let's listen in.
Yeah, that's 100%.
So, a little disagreement between driver and crew chief. Obviously, whatever the driver wanted for an adjustment, the crew chief, Jeff Mendering, says, look, we can't do that. We're going to come out 25th. And even if the car's a rocket ship, with 77 laps, we're not going to drive back to the front. Sometimes that's your job. You're not in the heat of the battle inside the car. You're up here on top of the pit box. You have the whole picture. You just have to manage the race as you see fit.
Making their way onto progressive pit road once again. And again, there's still 76 laps to go in this race, Kim.
Yeah, and for Jesse Love in the 2 car, he said in 3 and 4, he was tight center, lacking drive off, but he said it feels like the track's going to come to him once the sun goes down. You see him top left. The call's going to be 4 fresh Goodyear tires, 1 up on the track bar, as well as Snow Field. He's told to save, Dave.
Austin Hill said really good. A little bit free when I'm in dirty air, but don't make any changes for your tires from him and fuel. Cole Custer, in the meantime, he's lost a part of that. Hopefully you can free me up a little bit on this run, Marty.
Tanaka said, I'm sorry, I keep hitting the wall, guys. I feel like I'm hitting it with the right rear, and that kind of puts the right front into the wall. But he said, I'm honestly afraid to make drastic changes to the car because I feel like the track is about to change, and that's going to be in our favor. And once again, Rick, the 21 team keeps Austin Hill in the lead.
Yeah, race off progressive pit road shows that the 21 team remains perfect. They have not lost spot on pit road. Caution comes out for this as Josh Williams in the 11 drifts up the racetrack and catches Ryan Truex.
I didn't have to spend my life.
Under caution for the 3rd time today, our first time in stage 3 and our second incident of the afternoon here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. It looked like there was some sort of a right front failure on the 11 of Josh Williams, drifted him up the racetrack into the side of the 26, who was to his outside entering turn 1 where the incident took place. So Ryan Truex in that 26 to remain in the race. So a lot more damage to the 11 of Williams than what there was on the 26 of Truex. Both will have to clear that DVP clock when we get into the next race start. 3rd time today, Austin Hill and his crews won in the race off pit road. All 3 times he was in the lead when he came down into the pit. So his teammate Jesse Love will be up to 2nd place after that 2 team was able to gain 3 positions with a 4-tire stop. So both RCR cars now up in the front of the field. Jesse Love's been just kind of creeping in to the picture and to try to get up in contention for the win. So equipment-wise, I mean, he's in the same stuff Austin Hill is. We'll see if he can seal the deal and get the win. I did miss that last incident live. I actually, from the time they came back from the commercial break up until through that caution, I missed all the green flag action. I was having to take a bathroom break there, so I was hoping I'd get back a little sooner than that, but I'm here now. So about 74 laps to go. Next restart. We'll take another break while we await them to come back from the commercial break. Again, you're listening live to the NASCAR Cup Series race at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. Should say KRC Productions brings to you Credit One NASCAR AMEX Credit Card 300. I'll tell you what, man, the Xfinity Series and these title names for these races. There's a lot of them. It's just a slight buffer. We should be okay. Billy Kramer, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I still have full internet connection, so we're good. full OBS connection.
Metropolitan area of Miami, population over 6 million people are able to enjoy South Florida. Steve, you've been on the roads with it over the past couple.
I have all 6 million. I think on the last trip down. I mean, the weather's so good, no wonder. So many people live here. Beautiful weather.
I bet the 2-car picked up 3 spots on pit road, now starting on the outside.
That's teammates making up row 1. Austin Hill once again on the inside with Jesse Love on the outside, Cole Custer back behind the 21 as the green flag back in the air. And a great restart this time for Austin Hill. He'll easily clear the 2 of Jesse Love. Now we'll see what Eric Almirola in the 20 will do. Custer trying to hold on to that second spot. That's Love working the middle of the racetrack. He's going to lose second, but here comes Custer. He's all the way to the inside of the 20.
Got 'em both.
As they come off before.
What a move.
Power
by
move.
Zero corners. It was 72 to come the race and 1 set of tires in the pits. We talk a lot about saving tire, but if you, to your point, Jeff, what's the plan? If I'm the pit right in the middle, I only need to run about 35 on each set so we can push hard.
Yeah, go as hard as you can right here. You see Ryan Sieg trying to take second place from Jesse Love. Third place, I'm sorry.
Love trying to fight back on the outside. And now a run by the 20 of Almirola.
And look what it does, right? With the 21 not leading, he now comes in plus 13, just above the cut line, still above, but that automatic advancement gone away.
Playoff bubble, 13 points separating Hill and Chandler Smith. Hill running second, has led 70 laps. It would be a massive disappointment if Hill is not able to close out this race. Jesse Love sliding a little bit through the center of the turn, but still able to stay just on the inside of that 21.
RCR cars have been fast on the bottom of the racetrack all day long. Jesse Love taking the spot from his teammate.
Wiggle there out of the 21.
Oh, man.
He drifts up to the wall. So Love now up to second. Custer, Love, and
The 21s maybe not as quite as aggressive on their adjustments, but let's not forget the lights are starting to come on, the sun's starting to go down. I'm also very confident this track is going through a shift. This is a track when it does cool, it seems to turn a little bit better. The front tires gain grip.
Sieg's going to drift up. Does he have enough room to clear the 21?
He's going to make room.
Certainly.
Didn't get him much choice.
This was the impressive move from Cole Custer to take the lead.
Yeah, it kind of side drafts that 2 of Jesse Love and then just turns to the bottom, clears the 2, gasses it up. The 21 goes up the hill a little bit and all the way to the lead of the race.
That tells me the 21, you said it, that these adjustments were not good for him, or others have made their car better, track temps down. But the fact that the 00 could make that pass that easily off the 21 tells me the 21 just is not as good as he once was.
Cole Custer out front. Love running the higher line now. Holding on second. Ryan Sieg has moved up to third. Hill fourth. Almirola is fifth. Top 5 separated by 1.2 seconds.
Long runs have been the 21 strength. See if that continues, but With 67 to go, Steve, and if this thing goes green, what's really going to matter is track position, but also who can get on and off pit road the best.
On and off, and what pit you come. Tires are worth so much. If I can beat someone to pit road by just 1 lap, that could be 3 seconds.
And if you've got to put the pressure on the pit crews, you would want to have the 21s. They have been perfect, have not lost a spot on pit road all day.
How about Ryan's right heartbreak? So close. A week ago at Las Vegas, he's up to 3rd. Continues to hang around.
Sam Mayer, he's going to get by a couple drivers in one turn.
Look at the slide all the way to the wall.
Marty, how about Allgaier?
Rick, still too early in the run for Allgaier to quote unquote go. And before the green flag, he talked with Eddie DeHaan about their strategy today. Take a listen in.
You can keep it out of them. I don't mean that derogatory. I want to make it to that. I know. You know, like I want the reasons to win so bad. And it's so hard to lose spots and then just be okay with it,
Jeff, race car drivers are always known to not be the most patient type of human beings, but how frustrating would it to be in Justin Allgaier's spot with a crew chief saying, hey, bring it back in a little bit early in the run, that'll help us later in the run. But to Pullman's point, they're in the perfect position to advance to Martinsville with the points they need.
I feel like that they never have approached this race with the winning mentality. They've come in here saying we just need to survive and have a decent day. And that strategy is fine, Steve, as long as you go to Martinsville, have a decent day. But if you go to Martinsville, and by the way, we just showed the highlights of what it was like last year, and you get wrecked late in the race, you could finish 30th. So that is trusting that you're going to have a very solid day at Martinsville.
28. Ryan Sieg. So close a week ago. Same car. So they turned this car around. I love that out of a small team. They said, you know what? This is the best car we have, Cam. We ran in Las Vegas all the way on the West Coast, and now here we are all the way in Southern Florida.
Yeah, this car has been the product of 2-year runner-up finishes, now in the Vegas car, but the Texas car really at Supercross racing at the beginning of the year through their reliance, but hasn't seen that shop since then. It has been Ryan Sieg and his team that have massaged on this car the second half of the season to get it good. And, last week it stung for that team, especially in the moment, but crew chief Matt Noyes told me that he only sees the positive. It shows that they are building fast, and what he was most impressed with last week as they got that runner-up finish, he said, you know what? I'm impressed with our crew. He had the fastest start of the year by 0.8 of a second. The pit crew showed up in the moment. They maintained condition on pit road. And with a critical move like that, it gives Ryan as a driver all the more confidence. As you see again, that heartbreak as AJ Allmendinger won the race and Sieg ultimately had to settle for second place.
He's had some close finishes. Texas, as a matter of fact, was thousandths of a second that he finished second to Sam Mayer at that race. And he's trying to get by this two of Jesse Love for the second position, but as he's doing it, that's allowing that 42 of Leland Honeyman to kind of be in the mix here. It's Cole Custer out in front. He has a 2.3 second lead over Love.
All right, here we go. 60 laps remain at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. Cole Custer out in front of the field. Again, 2.2 seconds ahead of Jesse Love in second. Ryan Sieg sits in third. Austin Hill fourth. And Eric Almirola rounds out our top five. Battle for second continuously going on between Love and Sieg. Sieg with a big run from the outside lane of the racetrack off turns 3 and 4. Love ran the bottom. Love goes back to the inside again through 1 and 2, and out of the middle groove goes Sieg. Part of using the same chassis, the same car that Sieg has used on these 3.5 miles that he's ran so well at, obviously today, but the same car he had last weekend, finishing second at Vegas and second at Texas earlier this year, is taking care of the equipment. It's one thing to have a fast car like this. You don't want to wreck it because then that ruins it for future races. And especially with a smaller team like this, you don't know how many more opportunities you're going to have with this said race car. But he's doing well for himself. Let's see if he can get one spot higher than those 2 races and try to get that first career win knocked off. Justin Allgaier is moving up another spot as he passes Chandler Smith for 8th on the racetrack. Smith was 5th at the end of stage 2. Now back to 9th, which is 1 spot worse than what he finished back at stage 1. Despite the fact that he did start on the pole and led the first 30 laps of the race. 44 laps led for Cole Custer, who is out in the lead right now. 3rd time he has led today. He's led the most times in the race. Austin Hill has still led the most laps. 70 laps led for him. Hill is currently in 4th. He'll be followed behind the racetrack just a little bit as we get closer to the complete nighttime skies at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. Not as much sun glare as we usually see headed off into turn 1 here today, and I think a lot of that is because of the overcast skies, or the mostly cloudy skies at that. Zig was putting a good fight on there with Jesse Love, but he is starting to slip back just a bit. Maybe burned his tires up too much too early in the run trying to go after 2nd. Austin Hill going to make a pass on him for 3rd. He'll maybe saving his stuff a little more by dropping back earlier in the run as well. Could be a bit of both. Oh, 1 car against the outside wall. William Sawalich in the 19, and that was a pretty good hit. And he was against the wall for a while. Once he got sucked in, he couldn't get off of it. And we'll see if he can get back to pit road. He's definitely got a tire down. Right rear tire's flat, so his debut. He's trying to make a pass on Brandon Jones the lap before. Got a bit loose. Saved it, but then again got up against the wall when running the outside of the racetrack just a couple corners later. And has to go all the way around the racetrack, by the way, with that flat right rear. That took place in turns 1 and 2. Just now getting to pit road. Both right side tires are flat, by the way, the right front and the right rear. And have a tough time trying to jack the car up on the right side. And it's taking a team effort to get it jacked up. They finally will. And the pit crew going to work and have to make sure they pull those fenders out enough. Sawalich was running just outside the top 10 for most of the day. He actually was 10th at the end of stage 2. As he goes through his debut learning curves for next season. Sam Mayer gets by his teammate Justin Allgaier that last lap for 8th. As through 1 and 2, he'll stay in front of him, it looks like, through 3 and 4. Running the top, forcing Allgaier to have to go a lane off the outside to try to get back around him. And he is going to get at least alongside of him through 3 and 4. Have a chance to make the pass from the bottom back to the top again. See the scuffs on the right side of the 7 car of Allgaier. You can tell he has gotten against the wall again. He did back at stage 2 just a bit, and I think he did in this final run as well. Because it looks like the lettering is rubbed off of the Goodyear side of the sidewall of that tire. Both of them on the right side. Custer looking a lot stronger here in stage 3 than what we saw him in the first 2 stages of the race. Still strong in the more daylight hours of this race. But as we get into the nighttime, he's starting to look like the fastest out on the racetrack. Lead is up to 3 seconds. Austin Hill, who was a little bit quicker than Custer that last lap by only a few hundredths of a second, was the quickest car on track entirely that last lap outside of Sawalich, who of course just hit pit road. After he had that flat tire, he's a lap down as of right now in 28th. Trying to work himself back under the lead lap. Everybody has to pit one more time in this race, and everybody still has 1 set of tires left the rest of the way. We're a bit outside the fuel window from when we restarted with just north of 70 laps to go. So we will see pit stops at some point before the finish. If these teams try to split it in half to the end of this race, we're probably looking at about 35 laps to go or right around there that we will be seeing cars hit pit road for the final time. A lot of fluid for the 7 team. Trying to get out of the pit box just in front of theirs. I don't know exactly what that's from. That makes it a little tough for the 7 team if he does have to get into his pit box. Allgaier still holding on in 8th. Sheldon Creed, better on this longer run, jumps back into the top 5 as Sieg continues to fade just a bit more. Ryan Sieg now back to 6. Just burned his stuff up too early in the run, it appeared. Showing a replay of Justin Allgaier in the 7. After he had gotten back by Sam Mayer for 8th place. I told you SVG was going to be back up in the top 15 by the end of this race, by the way. He's currently in 15th right now. It's just, I mean, that's what he does. Starts at the back every oval race. And by the end of the race, he sometimes gets a top 10. At the very least, he's usually up in the top 15. And again, in an effort where it's his first race at this said racetrack, you know, it's good to see out of him. That's what he needs to do, and be interesting to see if he can do much of that next season in Cup. He runs full-time there as well. Especially with a Trackhouse Chevrolet that he'll be racing with next year. He's been at Kaulig racing this season for the Xfinity Series, obviously full-time, but even his part-time Cup efforts have been with Kaulig racing as well. Another side-by-side commercial break right now at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. A 4-second lead for Cole Custer again. Should be getting into those green flag pit stops pretty soon. Austin Hill, Eric Almirola, and Sheldon Creed all battling for 3rd. Almirola tried to make a pass on the 21, couldn't do so. The failed attempt allows for Creed to get to the inside of the 20 now through the center of 1 and 2. He'll slide up the track trying to clear his teammate. Not going to happen. Has to leave just enough room to the outside. And now they're door-to-door down the back straightaway and headed for turn 3. Side draft each other. They're pulling each other further away from the 21 car in front of them. Creed's got to be able to clear quickly and does. And Almirola got loose, and I think he might have got against the wall in the center of the corner, and that really allows for Creed to clear. Despite not getting up off the exit of the corner himself very well. But he did keep it off the wall, and that was the difference. Yeah, there's some slight marks on the outside around the wheel well of the race car. Definitely don't think he hit it hard enough that's going to cave the fender in and cause a rub on the 20 car, though. He very, very, very lightly grazed it. Kind of reminiscent to Stage 1, though, for Sheldon Creed, where he had a good long-run car. Stage 2, we just didn't see him cut back through the field, but here in Stage 3 again, we're seeing it. Does he have another second-place run in him? I mean, he's within a half a second out of second place on the 2 RCR cars of Love and Hill in front of him. Love, by the way, drops out of second place and is now back to 3rd. Austin Hill is up to P2. Notice that Hill was running quicker lap times than that of Love a little bit ago. Love struggling on the bottom of the racetrack. Hill gets by on the outside. Sheldon Creed with a great run off the top. Here comes Eric Almirola to pit road. And he'll be the first of the leaders down into the pits from 5th place. Almirola will take those 4 fresh tires from about 5+ seconds off the race lead. And honestly, as close as he was to 2nd on the leaderboard a lap or 2 before the rest of the field, he's got a chance of leapfrogging into 2nd if it's a clean stop. Custer from the lead, not going to waste any time. He's coming to pits.
Green flag pit stops have begun, and when Eric Almirola came to pit road, that's now going to bring everyone to pit road.
Including leader Cole Custer through the black car coming down pit lane. The flashing move from third to first. Put him out front, and he has stayed there. What's the 3-second lead over the car behind him? So he'll get 4 Goodyear tires. But get full fuel for the final time, Kim.
BT Jesse Love in that white and red two-part bottom left. He said he needs drive as well as tighten up on entry. They will make a track car bundling to show as well as take 4 fresh Goodyear tires, snow-filled fuel. His teammates, Austin Hill, also on pit road.
No right rear trim. That's for Austin Hill. Is that fixed?
12.8-second stop for Hill. Pitted the same lap as Custer. He was 4 seconds off the lead, though. Custer a 14-second lap time. So assuming there's no speeding penalties for the 21, he'll lead into that lead by about a little over a second. Sammy Smith flying onto pit road, locking up the tires late.
I would have thought this car would have run another 15 or 20 laps, just hoping for a really, really lucky yellow Kim to use their last set of tires late in the race.
Yeah, ultimately decided to come down pit road. The report that Sammy gave his team, he said, the camper adjustments we made earlier helped the front turn, but the rear was just too free on landing. You're going to see a chassis adjustment as well as fresh Goodyears and snow fuel for Sammy Smith.
Austin Hill trying to get everything he can coming to pit road. Watch the 8 leave. This was Austin Hill coming to pit road.
You know this is a slippery entry. We watched the 5 car hit the barrels last year in the Cup race, chasing the 12 on the pit road. So nice job by Jesse Love, to be quite honest, to not let that distract him and get down speed. Now the 81 in, Marty.
With Chandler Smith circling the pole today, Steve, and led the first 29 laps of the race, but then they struggled with the handling since then. A little bit too free on corner exit. That's his biggest problem here. 4 fresh Goodyear tires. And a bit of a longer stop for the 81 here.
Yeah, I can't get the left side jack out. They
Oh,
dropped
man.
it, or the car rolled off from it. I can't tell from this angle whether the jack's tipped or not. But either way, the damage is done both to the car and to the time on the racetrack. Like I said, I just was surprised everybody came at once, not for the guys up front. I knew what they were thinking. They had to try to keep their track position. And Chandler Smith, who came in 8 above the cut line, I also understand where they are. But I'm very surprised by the 8. I like what the 1 is doing. So the 1 of Sam Mayer is staying on this racetrack. And, you know, if we run another 15 laps, and then the caution comes out, he could come get tires, and he'll have a humongous tire advantage on all the cars that were winning cars. The same for the 18 in Creed. Let's see exactly what happens, whether it rolls off the jack or gets dropped and just doesn't. I can't tell. There was a kind of a crew member in the way. I think he drove it off the jack.
Yeah,
I
it
feel
looked
he
like
put
it.
in gear, and he, like you said, he tried to drive it off the jack.
Rolled before the jack dropped.
To Progressive Pit Road.
Called a conservative race from the driver, and really a conservative race from pit road. Didn't want to get caught by a yellow. Don't hate this call for the 7. Sticking with their plan, Marty.
He disciplined Justin Allgaier despite the right rear damage there you see around the brand logo. He said it just sees a little bit on exit. That's the biggest issue for Water that came onto pit road a little bit earlier. Not an issue. They got that cleaned up nicely. It's a little bit too free on exit. Corner exit for Justin Allgaier.
Let's see where this
35 laps to go. 14.2-second 4-tire stop for the 7 team of Allgaier. Quickest I've seen so far, still that 12.8 by Austin Hill in the 21 team. Quite a few cars have not made a pit stop yet. Austin Hill, obviously highest running of those that have pitted so far. Cole Custer, sorry, obviously is the highest running of those that pitted. Still about 3 to 3.5 seconds ahead of Hill. Custer, Hill, Almirola, Love, and Ryan Sieg. 5 drivers are on the lead lap of those that have pitted already, but they're on their final set of tires. Sheldon Creed, who's still out there on the racetrack, was running in 4th before these green flag pit stops took place. And he's running longer on this first run. He's not the only driver. AJ Allmendinger and Sam Mayer, who are also in the top 10 before the pit stop started, also still running long in the hopes of either catching a caution to get a tire advantage on their next restart, or just running longer in the sense that they're giving up time now and they're going to try to gain that to the end of the race. We'll see how that maybe works for them. Didn't really work in the truck race too well. But that was with some guys not pitting at all in that final green flag run, and some of them were pitting. So it's a slightly different strategy than what was in that last laps of the truck race that went green to the finish. This green flag run going to be just over 70 laps to make it to the end of the race. Very similar to the end of the Cup race last weekend. Though not right on the edge of the fuel window with these Xfinity Series cars, so you're definitely seeing some pit stops be had. And the tire disadvantage way worse here, obviously, running all the way to the end than what it was at Vegas, so you just wouldn't be able to make that time through a 70-lap run. I don't even think the tires can make it 70 laps, let alone the fuel side of things as well. We were seeing some cording after 45 to 50 laps earlier. So the top 6 cars haven't hit pit road yet, and then as well as Kyle Segan, 13th, also hasn't hit pit road. He's the last car in the lead, the last car in the lead lap. Got Creed, Olbendinger, Mayer, Kligerman, Jones, and Van Gisbergen are the only drivers that still have to pit. Cole Custer racing around a lot of traffic. He's still trying to keep a pace up that can beat the 21 of Hill. 3 seconds back of the 00 is the 21. Almirola pitting just 1 lap before Jesse Love allowed for him to cycle up in front of the 2. We'll see if it will hold on in front of him. That would put him in 3rd place once everything cycles through. 30 laps to go. Here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway, the question is, when does Creed, Olmendinger, Mayer, Kligerman, Jones, and Van Gisbergen all pit? I'd imagine once one of those guys pits, the rest will probably come in shortly thereafter. Last lap was a 37.0 for the race leaders. 35.6 is what I'm seeing out of the drivers on fresh tires. About a 1.5 second difference right now in lap time. Sam Mayer coming onto pit road. And same for Sheldon Creed.
Strategy call, but they didn't get the yellow. I still love the call, even if it doesn't work out. Kim.
Yeah, playing the long game. That's Sam calling for team for Sheldon Creed. Sheldon reporting he just can't trust the front tires until late in the run. They're going to take good gears as well as Sunoco fuel, Marty, as Sam Mayer making his stop.
Which if Sam Mayer is lucky that tire sort of, they gave him an indication going into turn 3, and you saw him immediately pull it off the wall all the way down the pit road. Credit to him being able to get it slow down to be able to get the pit road. We'll see which tire it was, but yes, he came on the radio and said he felt like he had a tire coming up.
So miscue of errors there. Olmendinger still stays out on the track and leads by 10 seconds over Brandon Jones and Shane Van Gisbergen. Only 3 cars at the top portion of the field. Custer, 12 seconds off the race leader right now and makes a pass on SVG for 3rd on track. Mayer, after that slow stop, racing to get by Custer with slightly fresher tires. And will do so. He's still a lap down for right now until the 16 ends up hitting pit road. Creed still on the lead lap as he'll try to make up time. A 34.5 second lap time for Creed that last lap. Compared to Hill and Custer, about a 0.5 second quicker. Say anywhere between a 0.5 second to 0.5 second to 0.7 second quicker. That last lap for Sheldon Creed. Now he ran a 35.2. 35.2, a 35.8 for Hill. Custer with a 36.0. So yeah, 0.8 quicker. It's going to be interesting to see how this pans out for him. He is quite a ways off the lead, though. He's 20 seconds behind Custer. 20 seconds back, a little under a second faster lap. Mathematically, I don't think he's going to get there without a caution. But if we do catch a yellow before the end of this race. I think he's going to have enough speed to go up there and challenge for the win, as well as everybody else on the same strategy as Creed. Or even AJ Allmendinger, for that matter, with a caution. Brandon Jones, Shane Van Gisbergen, and they haven't pitted at all yet. 9-second lead for AJ with 24 laps to go. Back to Custer in second. Austin Hill has eaten into that gap over Cole Custer as he's continuously running the bottom to middle groove of the racetrack better than he was earlier in stage 3. Pretty much about as good as he was doing it back in stages 1 and 2, where he dominated and won those first 2 stages. Looking back at it right now, Austin Hill has still led the most laps in this race, 70 to Custer's 58. Custer obviously not leading quite yet, still 8 seconds off the lead. We'll have 22 laps to go this time by. Points as they run with Hill not in the lead. He's plus 17 above the cut line on Chandler Smith, who had that slow pit stop. Smith lost a lot of ground, and the difference of what was going to be 10 to 12 points is now about 17 with where Hill is running. He's probably going to get another spot on Allmendinger as well. So Smith might be able to get by AJ also if it does stay green to the finish. So again, that is right on the bubble. I think Hill's going to have a shot at catching Custer. He is now 1.6, 1.5 seconds behind him. Hill is the fastest car of those on the strategy of splitting this final run in half. But can he sustain that kind of speed on the long run? Is Custer maybe managing his tires better? We're going to have ourselves a little race here towards the home stretch at Homestead-Miami Speedway.
And that'll put 15 cars on the lead lap. Eric Almirola running in the 4th spot. We saw Eric early on fighting for the lead as we take a look at our Toyota driver update. He has run up front. Almirola leading the lap. He has been all the way back in 25th. And now the 16 of Allmendinger on pit road. So he'll give up the lead. And that will put Cole Custer out in front. Dave.
And Rick, they knew from the beginning of the run, just like everybody else, they wouldn't be able to make it all the way. So Allmendinger will bring the car down pit road now. Car has been actually fairly decent. It's just the worn out tires he wants to get rid of and change. Get the 16 back on track. See what he can do for the end.
Hindsight's 2020, Steve, but I mean, was this the wrong move? I mean, Allmendinger was really good early in this race.
I mean, he's going to go on the racetrack with a huge tire advantage. He's going to make some of the time back. I don't know if he had 20 laps, if he can make it up, make up enough time. But I actually like the gamble. I mean, I don't think this is a bad decision. As long as he can, he's going to go a lap down, but he just needs to get the lap back relatively quickly, because then if the yellow comes out, he'll still have the best tires when he pulls up behind the field.
Well, as we saw the 00 go by, there's the 21 right behind him. So here's the 16s. Right, he's going to have fresh tires, but that gap to the 21 of the 00 has closed. Watch these new tires. He's going to fly by these guys.
So there you go. Manage to him. Unlap yourself and then cruise, because this strategy is still about a yellow. Once you unlap yourself, if you get a yellow, you're going to restart doubled up with great tires, because look at everybody else. 23, some have 50. Creed only has 10, making up a ton of time. Mayer as well with 10, making up a ton of time. And Allmendinger with only 1 lap. And for Allmendinger, it's not about points. He's already advanced.
The 21 has closed this gap. Look at this. 21 getting by that traffic. Only one between them now.
1 second back.
17 laps to go from Miami.
Jeff, you said it. The strength of the 21 has been the long run, and the weakness for the 00 has been the long run. Up until this final stage, did the green flag pit stop make a difference? Were there adjustments made to these two cars?
Both of these drivers looking for that automatic bid in the championship 4 with a win.
The 21 has not run the top much. Now, with everything on the line, he's moved up there, and the car's responded.
1.2 seconds back that lap before. 1 second that lap. 2/10 cut out of the lead.
He goes back to the bottom through 1 and 2. 16 laps remain.
And what makes this such a difficult battle for Custer is today, this track has been as wide as any race we've seen there. The bottom, the middle, the top. Seems like multiple lanes have worked.
Unless Custer's saving a tire right here, he is in trouble. The 21 is running him down quickly.
Best finish for Austin Hill previously, 4th here at Miami. We mentioned this at the beginning of the show. Before this race even started, Cole Custer had dominated the competition on laps led from Miami. He's led 64 today.
Down to 3/4 of a second. Austin Hill is able to drive much faster into the corner.
I think the key for Hill is going to be this upcoming traffic. The 00 has 4, 5, 6 lap cars on the front stretch that I believe they are absolutely going to catch with about 10 to go.
Same tire strategy for both of these cars. And look at how much of a gap the 21 has picked up on Cole Custer.
He is way quicker. You talk about the lap traffic that they're coming up on. I think this 21 car, he has more options with his vehicle to be able to put it in different positions. Can run the bottom, the middle, the top. Cole Custer seems to be married to the top of the racetrack.
When he gets to his back bumper, what will the options be for the 21 of Hill? We see the traffic now is right there in front of the 00 of Cole Custer. And look at how much ground Austin Hill has made up. Goes to the front of the racetrack again.
You don't have to be in a big rush right here if you're Austin Hill. 13 laps to go. You know where the weakness is of the 00. Plenty of time to get this done.
Dawson Cram in the 74, staying right up against the fence. That's the line we've seen the 00 take. So now Cole Custer dives to the bottom of the racetrack, and here comes the 21. A big run through the middle of the track.
He got exactly what he wanted. That was a gift from Custer running the bottom, because the 21 has been running that groove, runs low on the entry and then jumps on the outside of him.
Hill takes the lead away from Custer.
00 is going to try to fight back, but it's going to be really difficult with that 21 up against the wall.
Hill out in front. And now you see with Hill leading. Allgaier 36 above the line, 29 for Custer above the line.
As far off as the 00 of Custer is right now, you wonder if he's having some sort of a tire issue, a small leak or something. He's a half a second off Austin Hill.
Well, and remember, earlier in the race, he did have some right front tire wear, and pitting under green is harder on the tires because you don't go out and ride around slow for a couple laps and bring them up to temperature. You leave pit road on the gas, go down to turn 3, whole tires, full grip. So you can damage a tire easier than you can under caution.
Under 10 to go. Marty.
Rick, I was about to tell you 10 to go. All these teams are hoping that it would stay green, except Brandon Jones, who had one more set of tires left, but they give up the ghost here. However, bottom of your screen, Shane Van Gisbergen sitting in their stall, one more set of Goodyear tires. So, Steve, if they get caution, would the 97 immediately be the favorite to win the race with the only team that has a set of tires left?
Yeah, I believe even with 20 cars in the lead lap, the only guy with tires as wide as this track is, if he could work through traffic, it could happen. But he's going to need the caution soon, because even in an overtime, I'm not sure he could go from 20th to first.
Well, he's been out on the racetrack for 66 laps, Steve. So how do you do that on fuel?
Well, at this pace, it's so slow at this point. I don't think he's burning a whole lot of fuel, but I imagine we're going to see him on pit road here shortly now that we see the 9 pit.
Austin Hill out in front. Listen to his radio.
I like it.
I got it.
Derek Nealon said, I got it, buddy. Just keep giving me a gap and let him know what's behind. I like a team that's not afraid. Yeah, I'm not afraid to say that to my driver. There's Andy Street Takuchi. We're in this together. This is an impressive drive. I didn't have 21 on my radar after practice. I thought both RCR cars just didn't quite have the raw speed of other cars in the field. Both currently inside the top 5. The 21 looking for this big guaranteed advancement into the championship 4 at Phoenix.
And what a major shift between this run and the run before. The 21 was in big trouble. The 00 driving away from him. They both pit, make whatever changes they make, and it did not work for this car. The 21 lit off.
1.7 seconds, 1.8 seconds now, separating the top 2. Under 7 laps remaining. Cole Custer trying to defend his championship from a year ago. Still as they run. You see in the lower left corner of your screen, Cole Custer 29 points above the cut line. Again, we know for sure one driver will get in based on points, even if Hill wins here and another playoff driver wins at Martinsville. So points very important for these drivers as well.
You mentioned the 21. You didn't see him having the speed yesterday in practice. I'd say the same went for Allmendinger last week.
Yeah.
He was able to step up and win last week, locked himself into Phoenix, and now if this 21 can do it, he's locked himself in.
Down under 5 laps to go here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway for Austin Hill as he tries to run his way into victory lane, and a trip to the championship 4 obviously on the line as well. 4.5 laps to go. He's got a 2.7 second lead over Cole Custer. Continuously faster than him. I mean, he was a half a second quicker than Custer that last lap again. I think Custer's tires are gone. Because even Almirola about 4/10 quicker than him. Custer's just trying to survive to the finish at this point. And with this Austin Hill win, that means Custer would actually be the final driver above the cutoff line on points. He's currently plus 28 over Chandler Smith on the bubble with an Austin Hill victory. Justin Allgaier's currently in 8th place, is plus 35. Connor Zilic is up in the top 10 for the first time today, now in position number 10 in the late going. Not anymore. Now he's back to 11th. AJ Allmendinger has just passed him on those much fresher tires. AJ was the last of the lead lap cars to hit pit road that have hit the pits. SVG still out on the racetrack, tail end of the lead lap at 15th, just waiting for a caution just in case we get it here. He's got 1 set of tires left. Nobody else on the lead lap has another set of tires. Maybe even the entire field has another set of tires the rest of the way. 2 to go this time by. Now the lead is 3.2 seconds. 4.6 to third. Jesse Love, his teammate, 7.4 seconds back in fourth. Sheldon Creed, Riley Herbst on track battling for fifth. Over 10 seconds off the lead. That's the only battle going on in the top 5 right now in these closing laps. Really, the only battle going on in the top 10. AJ might have a chance of catching Sam Mayer on those fresher tires for 9th on the last lap, but even that's a bit of a stretch. There's about a 3-second gap between those two cars. And they're coming up on the white flag this time by. Hill's going to get there. White flag in the air. 1 lap to go. Few lap cars in front of the 21, but he doesn't have to push the issue to try to make the pass. Hill's going to go on to lead the most laps and get the race win here today. 82 laps led. He led 3 different times, and he's going to sweep both stages and get the race win. It looked like in the beginning half of stage 3, it was in jeopardy. Maybe went the wrong way on an adjustment, but went the right way, right back at it again as he exits turn 4. Hand out the window, checkered flag in the air. 4th win of the Xfinity Series season for Austin Hill. And Hill will advance with AJ Allmendinger now to the championship 4. Cole Custer finishing in second. Eric Almirola third. Jesse Love in fourth. Sheldon Creed rounds out the top five in fifth. Riley Herbst sixth. Ryan Sieg in seventh. Justin Allgaier eighth. Sam Mayer ninth. And AJ Allmendinger in 10th. 11th place finish for Parker Kligerman. Connor Zilic 12th. Chandler Smith 13th. Kyle Weatherman 14th. Anthony Alfredo 15th. Jeremy Clements in 16th. Shane Van Gisbergen, first car 1 lap down in 17th. Ryan Truex 21st. Sammy Smith 22nd. Parker Retzlaff 23rd. William Sawalich 24th. Ryan Ellis 25th. Kyle Sieg 26th. Josh Williams 27th. And Brad Perez 28th. 29th for Austin Green. Leland Honeyman 30th. Mason Maggio 31st. Dylan Lupton 32nd. Dawson Cram 33rd. Blaine Perkins 34th. Armani Williams 35th. Thomas Annunziata 36th. And 2 cars DNF'd in today's race. Nick Lights and Matt DiBenedetto 37th, 38th. Again, 16 cars finished on the lead lap. Margin of victory 3 seconds. A lot closer than the margin of victory in the truck race, which was like 17 seconds earlier today when Blaine Riggs and Nick Sanchez ran out of gas in the final couple laps, running second and third. And no pit stop for Grant Enfinger, who went on to win that race. On that final fuel run, green flag run to the end. So 2 long green flag runs to the finish here this weekend. Will we see the same in the Cup race tomorrow? 70-lap green flag run here in the Xfinity race. We went just over 50 laps on the green flag run in the truck race earlier. Different drivers led for at least 1 lap today. 11 lead changes. And only 3 cautions. 2 per incident, 1 of them in stage 3. 1 towards the end of stage 2, which bled into the stage 2 end. And of course, the first caution at the stage end at lap 45 in stage 1. Here's your race winner, Austin Hill.
How about that? But wow, the emotion that we are seeing from Austin Hill. The excitement. I don't think we've seen this driver as excited as he is here today. For the first time in his Xfinity Series career, he will go to Phoenix as part of the championship 4 and fight for a title. We heard the emotion on the radio, Austin. We're seeing it here now. I don't think I've seen this kind of emotion from you. How much does this mean to you?
I worked so hard at this. A lot of people doubt me, but I wake up every day to prove everyone wrong that I deserve to be here. You know, I deserve to race for a championship. This 21 team deserves it just as much as I do. They work their asses off each and every day, just like I do. And I got to give it up to those guys. They just gave me a hell of a car. I didn't have to go run the wall. I could run really wherever I wanted to. Only had 1 bad run. That was that 1 restart there towards the end where the green flag stop just got so loose. But oh my God, I'm like out of breath. I can honestly say I've never cried coming to the start finish line, and I couldn't even get my emotions together going into turn 1 after the checker. Just all the hard work and dedication that goes into this. I don't think everyone's going to understand what this means to me, for my family, for Bennett. This 21 car was as fast as Xfinity Internet today, and I just had to be on it. I made some mistakes today, but we rebounded. Pit crew was badass like they always are, and I knew once we got off pit road and we were in touch with the 00, I just had to go to work and not burn my right front or right rear up and just save it for the long run. And as soon as I saw him start backing up to me, I knew it was game on. So, oh my God, this is amazing to be able to go to the Final 4. I've worked so hard at this, and my dreams came true.
Your dreams came true. You mentioned the naysayers, the haters at the beginning, and that they might say you don't deserve to be here. Tell them why you can win a championship in this series.
I mean, I think it just goes back to what we just did. If we come all prepared and we have a fast finish Chevrolet and I do my part, keeping my head in the game all day long, we can go win a championship just as good as the rest of the field. So I'm so excited to go to Martinsville, stretch 3. I can go have some fun there. Martinsville hasn't been good to me, so we're going to celebrate this one. It's also my wife, Ashlyn's birthday.
Well, what's your birthday?
Tomorrow, so happy birthday to her. There's my little boy. Hey, buddy.
It's so cute.
Yeah.
And you're wearing the lucky shoes.
Yeah. I guess these shoes are lucky. I mean, first playoff appearance with these shoes. Didn't have a great showing last week, but we showed it to him this week.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And we'll let Ashlyn and Barrett come back in to celebrate with Austin Hill, who is going to Phoenix to compete for a title.
The family, it's a family affair for the Hills. Lindley and Kinsley, his daughters, also a part of the introduction earlier today. A lot of people didn't have him on the radar as far as coming to Miami and getting a win and securing that spot in the championship four. But Austin Hill talked about how much he has put into this and this team and what they were able to accomplish. The pit crew perfect on pit road, and now Austin Hill is locked into the champ four.
Austin Hill wins stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3, leads the most laps, gets the win. Unanimous decision as would be the title fight here today for Austin Hill getting the victory. The title will still be in a couple weeks, so I guess this was a non-title fight, but number 1 contenders match here tonight. Austin Hill does get the win. Cole Custer finishes in second and ends up leading the second most laps today as well, 67 laps led. He led the most times for Eric Almirola led for 1 lap back at stage 1. And the late going to that stage battling for the stage win. Chandler Smith from the pole in the first 30 laps of the race before losing the lead to Sheldon Creed, who led the next 12. And then AJ Allmendinger also led for 9 laps, also back at stage 1 in this race as well. So those are all the drivers who led. Again, we had 6 different drivers lead, 11 lead changes in the race total. 16 cars finished on the lead lap. Margin of victory, 3 seconds. 126.97 mile per hour average race speed, and our total time on the race today was 2 hours, 20 minutes, and 24 seconds. You heard from race winner Austin Hill. Congratulations to him. Him and Allmendinger now in the championship 4. And that is going to wrap up our stream here today. Good race. Good race. Got the main event tomorrow afternoon. NASCAR Cup Series action. We'll begin things off with our pre-race at 2 p.m. Eastern. And I hope to see you then for that one. We started streaming today a little over 9.5 hours ago from where we are right now. 3 races. Had a large iced coffee. And honestly, I would say that this is probably my best commentary of the day throughout the 3 streams. So there we go. Maybe it worked. Maybe I just got to start. I'm not a big coffee drinker, but maybe that's what I need going forward for like every other live commentary stream. We'll see. It gets bad if I start jittering too much, though. That's the thing. That was not the case here today. I think it worked out well for me. But appreciate everybody tuning in here for this one. Again, greatly appreciated as always. See you tomorrow afternoon for our main event, Cup Series racing. Again, 2 p.m. Eastern, beginning with our pre-race show. Thanks for watching all 3 of today's live commentary streams for those of you that have been with me since 9 a.m. this morning. And see you again tomorrow. Have a good rest of your Saturday night. Go Blue. Beat Michigan State.